Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The following content contains adult language and humor that is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you.
Doing the Trump dance.
That's right. I'm adding us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome one and all to this edition of Pacific414 Pop Talk, coming to you live on the Pacific414 YouTube channel, the Pacific414 Rumble channel, and also Pacific414 on X, along with Baron Orman Tagge. I am your host, Mike. Cash will be here. He's just running some errands. He's just going to be a little late, but he will be here.
Eating some tofu. Gotta get that tofu break. Make sure he gets enough soy in them for the show.
But
don't soy on my parade. Okay.
Before we have the arrival of Cash and we start off with today's topics, Baron, how are you doing?
Exciting day. I'm doing absolutely fine. People don't realize there was a virtual press conference day. I was able to get in and ask a question from 414 News, by the way. So I found that exciting. Other than that, I'm doing pretty darn good.
Oh, yeah, you're able to ask a question from 414 News. What kind of question was that, Baron?
Well, funny you should talk. The producer has everything all rolled and ready to go. No fake news here.
But seriously, folks, the gray aliens are a fascinating species. They've got those big black eyes and that tiny little body. They're like the supermodels of the alien world. I've even heard they're into anal probing. I don't know about you, but I think that's a pretty weird fetish. I mean, come on, fellas. There's plenty of human women who'd be happy to, let's say, entertain you. No need to go sticking things up there anyway, Baron. I hope that answers your question.
Well, yeah, it did. Thank you, Mr. President. And, of course, I'm sure those were wise words to Animos.
You know, Baron, I seem to learn new things about you each and every broadcast.
I just asked a question. Do you have any gray aliens on your staff? And, he was talking, and then, of course, he was talking about his cook, who slips things into his food, he thinks. And then, of course, he continued on talking about the gray aliens. So I don't know. I have a feeling, though, some of that was directed to Animos because he knew that Animos was a big DeSantis supporter. So, yeah, you know how Trump can be. You know how he can be. So I didn't ask anything about probing. None. So
anal probing? No, there had to be something in there for him to say that.
No. All I asked was, is there any gray alien? You saw the question. That was the question under there. Is there any gray aliens on your staff? And yeah, it's a little confusing, a little mind-boggling. Kind of makes you want to know where things were. So, but he didn't want to follow up a question. He went on to the Jim Acosta. Jim Acosta's two-person watching me podcast, and yeah, and then I was kind of hurt about that. I mean, Jim Acosta, come on, not that twin.
Well, you know who I'm not heard about? You know who's not a gray alien? There's no gray alien inside here in our chat. Tim, also known as FKHC 2005. Good to see you, Tim.
I hear he's a
And,
Nordic.
right. And I also want to say hello to Sci-Fi Mombi. Good to see Sci-Fi Mombi here. Welcome.
I don't think he's an alien. I don't.
She.
Oh, my fault. I don't think she is. Please don't hurt me, Sci-Fi Mommy. Please don't hurt me.
Don't worry, I'll hurt him for you.
Yeah. Well, you can't tell sometimes. I don't know.
You'll have to excuse Baron Sci-Fi Mommy. He's just not right.
I just made a little mistake. That's all. I wasn't trying to misgender anybody.
Sure. But go ahead and misgender this guy.
Oh, that's one of the reptilians. Those are one of the reptilian aliens. Trump did say something about that. Even though I do hear that Joe, he's a little mad at Joe because Joe's getting that big contract with Netflix, and he didn't ask Phil to join along with him. So expect a war.
Phil wanted a starring role. That's why.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know about your greatest, reptilian. So, Cass isn't happy.
Why are you not happy, Cass? What's wrong? And it's good to see DJ Ronnie G, who says, hello, gang. Hello, DJ. How you doing, brother?
DJ Ronnie G, wrangling his turtles.
Everybody's greeting each other. Let's see.
That's nice of him.
Let's see what DJ's saying here. Yes, that's exactly right. See, DJ knows everything about Cash.
No,
you need to know something about Cash? Just ask DJ.
Yeah, he knows all about Cash's soy shrunken seeds. So.
Yeah, it's always so good to wake up late on a day off, except if you have to get stuff done on your day off. Let's see what Cass is saying here. No, it won't because my HDMI cord for my Xbox is not working, and I have a lot of things on there, and I can't play it. It was working last night when I was watching Transformers last night. Have you tried, and I'm not being a smart aleck, have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? Sometimes you have to do that in order for the signal to go through.
Yeah, that's the what do you call the duct tape of gaming machines. Unplug it and plug it in those cables. And also another thing, those cables can burn out at any time.
Yeah, they can.
Burn out. So
yeah, I've had it happen where I've had to replace it.
Enough cords of everything out there: coaxials, HDMI's, and I had the cat chewing through some of them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Phil is saying Baron Tagge, the George R.R. Martin clone. Freaky.
No. After you listen to one story today, you know I'm not him. I know exactly where that clip is. I'll put it on here if you keep switching it.
All right. If you want to put it on here, you have my permission.
She's only kidding about hurting me. She'll do it now. I don't blame her. Well, she said about the bird slave, but I can barely see the unfortunately little icon down there. So I'm going to use that as my defense.
So sometimes when comes up in the chat in here, or even when we were using StreamYard, and it would just give a brief description of what was being used, I'd actually go to the YouTube side so I could actually see what it was.
You're smart. I'm not. He's smart, folks. That's why he's the host.
And she says, well, I would think if I had Princess Leia buns in my avatar with booze, you'd see I'm a woman.
Well, like I said, it's kind of hard to see. You know what? I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to YouTube right now. Even then, it's still hard for me to see. My eyes are poor.
You could always increase the size of the screen.
I just did. Okay, now I can see it better. It was kind of what would you say, blurry too for a while there.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And DJ
I've been
Raji
properly shamed. I've been properly shamed. I won't.
Shame! 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 But DJ Ronnie G says, to Cass, when it comes to HDMI cords, I would typically first test the cord on something else, assuming it isn't a setting on the Xbox. If it still doesn't work, then I drill it down from there.
DJ Ronnie G's has been known to try to fix his game systems with a hammer too. The bigger, the better.
Oh boy, his turtles aren't going to be happy with him today. He skipped feeding them.
Well,
to build character.
Yeah. I bet he's going to be.
And Cass
says, I think you lost your cable.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it happens. Technology's not perfect. You could turn on your computer one day and it's not working for whatever reason, whether it's the power supply or something else causing it not to properly turn on. And
well, yeah, same thing with charging cords and all that jazz. So yeah.
And DJ says the more I unplug and replug an HDMI cable, the more likely they are to wear out. Exactly, especially if you have the device on. There's electricity going through it.
Yeah, and if you're, with the dry and the static, that don't help either. At least around here. Turtles. Oh, by the way, nerd. Okay, there we go.
Very nice.
I didn't want to make DJ think that I wasn't, didn't like him. You know what I saw out the windows earlier today? The turkeys have returned.
Oh, the turkeys. I thought you were going to say you guys finally got some snow.
No, they're talking about some today. It's cloudy, been cloudy all day. They're talking about nearest snow, according to this, is 14 miles away, but it is MSN. So they lay by about everything. So I can't trust a freaking word they say. It could be snowing right now, and they say we have a chance of snow. I wouldn't believe them.
No, that's why I go to other sites to get my weather report. But even then, I don't trust them. It's like, funny, so-and-so's not saying rain. I can go to Weather Underground, for example.
Yeah.
They can say they can say that, oh, there's not going to be any rain. You go to Weather Channel, and they go, oh, yeah, you're getting rain. It's like, I'll go with Weather Underground.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Weather Underground is great. We don't have them around here anymore. Unless they're online or there's an app for it. But yeah, the Weather Channel, everything's going to be doom and gloom with them. It's like they've been predicting the death. We should have been dead 20 years ago, all of us, according to the Weather Channel.
And Sci-Fi Mombi says David Cabiza, the co-author and illustrator of the Orville comics, drew my logo. He's awesome. Very nice.
Awesome. That is awesome. Very awesome. No, I'm not going to get lung cancer. I don't take it in the lungs.
No, it's a pipe. You don't inhale
it. Or a cigar. If you do, you're crazy. Nope. I've been smoking a pipe or a cigar since I was 16. I'm hesitant
Well,
to say younger, which it could have been the case, but 16, and yeah, and I'm 56 now, so oh my God, that's 40 years.
Cass. I mean, just gonna say it probably is the HDMI cable, and it will probably be need to be replaced. If you have a spare
Yeah,
one lying around,
yeah.
that shouldn't be a
But
problem.
yeah, unplug it from one system. I'm sure you said you had your DVD player, so
Hmm.
sacrifice that cable for until you can get a new one. And if that works on your, then you definitely know it was the cable.
And DJ Running G using the perfect scientific method.
Hmm.
He once jury rigged an HDMI termination with a hammer.
I knew he wouldn't. I wasn't kidding when I said he tried using a hammer. This is DJ after all.
Yeah. HDMI cables are less reliant because they have so many pins. Yeah.
Hmm.
You bet you accidentally bend one pin, it's done for. And good to see Pop of Pop Culture Mechanic. Good to see you,
Good day,
brother.
eh? The future governor of Canada. So I heard.
I thought he was the future Prime Minister of Canada.
No, 51st state. Future governor.
You really want Canada as the 51st state.
No, I want to break them down. Each one of the provinces is a state. Why have that whole thing? We don't need Canada to be the largest state. Can you imagine all the people up in Alaska would get pissed off? But some of those provinces are big, so either way, Alaska's screwed. Screw you. We don't care about you, Alaska.
And then DJ says, I think we rolled out settings, but in the era of PS3, when 720 televisions were still common, folks would sometimes get a black screen after selecting 1080p. Yeah, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And Cass is saying he has an Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it was impossible to see settings, so the directions said hold the power button down for an amount of time. Yeah, I think it was 7 seconds. Might have been
I was
longer
gonna say
than that.
10. I was gonna say 10, but 7, 10, something like that.
Yeah, the two beeps. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I had to do that when I actually put a new hard drive in my PS3. Go
Mm.
through all the steps, and
I've never done that.
but that was ages ago.
Mm.
So, folks, I'm sure you're curious to know what we're going to be talking about this evening, and here we go with our first story.
Oh,
So, let me just get to the transitions,
they're right on top. Easy, man. Easy peasy.
and we will get into our first story. We have this article from Fandom Pulse, and it says Netflix announces Neil Gaiman's The Sandman is canceled, but pretends it was always intended to be a final season. Yeah. If we had this planned all along, folks, all along.
Oh, people are happy.
I don't know. I've never watched The Sandman, but with
No, I
everything
haven't.
going on with Neil Gaiman right now, I thought we probably should talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, I like this stuff, but I can't say I was a huge fan of his, even though I met him several times, and he seemed to be nice when I met him. So
Mm-hmm.
seeing the story come up is like, of course I saw all the BS they would go out there and say, especially the last that one that's not aging well right now. Believe all women, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like that now, Neil? Huh?
So this was posted on Fandom Pulse on the 1st of this month, and it's by Fandom Pulse, probably a committee of contributors.
Just what we need.
Yeah. And it goes on to say Netflix announced The Sandman will be coming to an end with season 2. While that's obvious, they are quietly ending the show because of Neil Gaiman's involvement. Their bizarre advertising campaign acts like it was always intended to end this way.
Uh-huh.
Uh huh.
Yeah. Just, yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Neil Gaiman faced a slew of cancellations this week, with Dark Horse Comics announcing they would be removing an Nasty Boys.
Yeah, yeah, kind of, that's how you say that, yeah. It's kind of hard. It's
Yeah.
one of the old gods that we don't know how to wrap our tongues around.
From their upcoming publication schedule, Terry Pratchett's estate assuring Good Omens graphic novel backers Gaiman would not be getting any funds from the campaign, a stage
Mhm.
production of Coraline being cancelled in the UK, and his agent dropping him. However, the
Yeah.
woes for Gaiman's don't stop there, as Netflix began their advertising campaign for season 2 of The Sandman, the adaptation of his infamous work from DC Comics. However, upon further inspection of the marketing images, it's interesting to spot that they've relabeled the season the final season.
Yeah, they had intention to keep on going.
Fans and media have speculated that the show has indeed been canceled, with Variety writing an article on the topic. It would make sense given the allegations by 11 different women to date regarding Neil Gaiman's assault. That's what I'm going to call it.
Hmm.
Neil Gaiman was rocked in January with an interview with his former nanny, Scarlett Povich, for New York Magazine, detailing graphic and horrific details on her claims of sexual abuse against the American Gods writer. Part of the odd situation about the Neil Gaiman story is how these details have been well known for nearly a year because of the work of Tortoise Podcast and Phantom Pulse detailing the abuse allegations against Gaiman.
They're patting themselves on the back. Isn't that nice, boys and girls?
Yes, they are. Moreover, women have been warning about Gaiman for years, with 9 women now making allegations about him, according to recent reports, and he's given signs through his work with this creepy fetishes inserted into the books like the Sandman, as well as his virtue signaling about the polyamorous degenerate lifestyle with Amanda Palmer that led to a personal problems for the author over the last several years.
Maybe
As
it was
far
Neil that President Trump was talking about in that clip. Just
maybe,
saying. Yeah, it wasn't me.
maybe
I'm not an alien.
as far as Sandman, the first season came out in August 2022 and it did not receive a renewal at the time. Netflix is notorious for commissioning 2 seasons of a show or one season split into two
Hmm.
and seeing how an audience reacts before going further. It's possible that Netflix never intended to renew The Sandman because of low ratings, but with the scandals, it becomes easy to label it a final season and wash their hands of the show without having to make any apologies.
Since when did this Netflix ever care about that?
Never. They never have.
No.
However, the showrunner Alan Heinberg told Variety the Sandman series has always been focused exclusively on Dream story, and back in 2022, when we looked at the remaining Dream material from the comics, we knew we only had enough story for one more season. We are extremely grateful to Netflix for bringing the team all back together and giving us the time and resources to make a faithful adaptation in a way that we hope will surprise and delight the comics' loyal readers as well as fans of our show.
He's got a lot more material than that with the Sandman. Come on.
Yeah, but with these allegations, they probably
Yeah.
said, "Okay, we're wrapping this thing up. We
Well,
are distancing
oh
ourselves
yeah,
from this as far as possible."
that's exactly it. But that's such a weak argument.
Of course it
Just say
is.
it. Just say because he's a creep. We're not going on. I mean, come on. Doesn't take a rocket scientist.
No, it doesn't. But this is Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that sounds like an excuse, but Hollywood is full of excuses, and they'll try to cover everything and say, "Oh no, it wasn't canceled because of this reason. It's because of this reason." Meanwhile,
Yeah,
the
but
truth is right in front of our face.
well, they also like to eat their own too.
Well, of course, they're a bunch of vultures.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I see somebody getting lambasted or a show that's not doing well, they're hovering above, circling, waiting to pick the bones.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes on to say it appears as if the marketing campaign is intended to ignore Neil Gaiman's involvement and the controversies to act as if the show exists on its own and was always intended to end this way. How it worked for Netflix? There is not much buzz surrounding people wanting the Sandman season 2 thus far. Well, see how the strategy works out for them. What do you think of Netflix canceling Neil Gaiman's show? Yeah, they're distancing themselves. We've already
Mm-hmm.
said it.
I mean,
They're cutting the
I,
cord.
yeah. I mean, I still stand with the, you know, innocent until proven guilty.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of, a lot of allegations, alleging a lot of nasty things. I'm not. I find it funny that they're more than ready to quit, cut and run with this, but yet we're out there defending to the hilt the little orange movie that was a few years back, if you
Hmm.
remember.
Yep,
And
yep, I know.
basically, the topic around that, and them trying to gaslight us about the whole thing. No, it's not really about that. Um, but you know, again, I sit back and go, Neil was one of those that were out there screaming about believe all women as he's attacking other people out there, not wanting to have their day. So, should the same be done for you, Neil? Should irony hit you? I mean, it's already ironic enough as it is.
Hmm.
Should we hold you to that same standard you're wanting to have for everybody else and the same outcome? I just want to point out the hypocrisy right now. So, if you're guilty, or even if you're not guilty, because, take a look at the attacks that they did on Vic Manana.
Hmm.
And really, honestly, they came just out of nowhere as a bunch of pissant little things because Vic Manana is conservative. He's made it known he's conservative. He made it known he's a Trump supporter. And he also made it known that he's very much a Christian. But how much he loves Star Trek. And obviously, from watching his Star Trek Continues, he knows Star Trek.
Hmm.
And did it right. So did James Cawley, but really in some ways, they both did excellent job. But look how they tried to destroy him and how they're going around saying, "Oh, women feel threatened. We can't have him at the convention no more."
Hmm.
Well,
And how
uh,
his co-stars not only for voicing over anime, but also his co-stars in Star Trek Continues turned
yeah,
on him.
hmm right. I don't think his ex girlfriend did. She played the counselor, the proto counselor, I should say, in that series. But boy, I mean, Vic, if that was Vic's squeeze, whoo-hoo! If he had that for a squeeze, why would you be going causing that problem? One, beautiful. Two, she looks like she could kick your ass if you tried a stunt like that.
Yeah, if you press the right button, she'll be all over
Oh,
you.
yeah. Well, it depends on which button, depends on how she's all over you. It could be the good way or it could be the bad way. Just be careful which button you press. That's all I got to sit back and say.
Yep.
But no, honestly, uh, everyone saw across the bullshit. It wasn't even all the people on Star Trek Continuous, just a small select of people on there, including their full Mr. Spock. It's like, if you guys knew this bullshit going on, then why did you spend all those years doing this with him?
Exactly. Exactly.
I would have walked, and I would have made it knowing why. Honestly,
This is why I'm walking. This is
Mhm.
what's been happening, and
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, other people have done that with other places throughout time.
mhm.
So, I mean, Neil. I mean, there's part of me, like I said, has that evil chuckle of irony. And when you have men running out there and screaming the feminist tropes, uh, I can't help every time I hear that. I kind of have my little eye going, There's two things. Either you're soy boying, inselling yourself, hoping that you can get some of that action out there if you act soy enough, or you're guilty as sin. There's never a road in between on that.
No, but if you were to ask me, I'd be leaning toward the latter, guilty as
Yeah.
sin.
Oh yeah, for him it is. Yeah, and I mean, I think I've heard stuff that he liked to get freaky and all that, but my philosophy about it. But everybody is consensual. No one's getting
Mhm.
hurt. At least not getting hurt serious, because there's those that do like to have little spankings and such, and all that across the board. And it's behind closed doors. Okay, have fun.
Yeah,
Just
enjoy it.
don't. I don't want to know about it. I don't want the people to be like Phil McCracken coming out and telling everything that happened about last night. Yeah, I was out there. Me and Joe went down to the ice cream shop, and I mean, we don't need to hear that,
Yeah.
that shit.
And enjoy yourself in private. The rest of us just don't want to hear about it.
Right. Unless we're at one of those conventions and we're taking notes. But no, yeah. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, yeah, I mean, you hear that, it's like, I don't care. I don't care. Again, my rules: no animals, no kids, consensual.
Mhm.
Know your boundaries, and that's about it. But it does not sound like this is a man who knew his boundaries, and
Oh, this sounds like a man who thought, he's bigger than the Almighty, and everybody should kowtow to him.
yeah. Well, I'm a writer. It's like, yeah, who cares, Neil? I wrote for Doctor Who. Yeah, who cares? It's
Yeah,
not that big of a crap.
that's great. That's great, Neil. But
I mean, his episode Bab 5, I still got the autograph script that they had out there. Was great. Uh, Other projects he did were great. But when it comes down to it, I can either, it's like, I'm not a huge Gaiman fan. I like some of the stuff he has out there, and like I said, I ran into him many times. He used to live around our area when. So being that the Renaissance Festival is a stone's throw away, he'd be there.
mhm.
Got to kind of know a band that Neil Gaiman wrote music for. I got their CDs. So I mean, amongst that group, and you know what I mean, especially when I'm talking about Renaissance, that group they have there, he is their walking god, and I can
Yeah.
see it's not hard for him to start thinking that he is a god, even though he's an atheist. So
Well, yeah, he's got an ego. So what happens when people keep stroking his ego? He thinks that he's unstoppable. He's
yeah,
untouchable.
yeah. I mean, he was a journalist. And he wrote a wonderful book about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I mean, a great one. Again, it's in my. I probably could just turn around and reach and grab it right now. But again, does that excuse what he did? No.
No, no, none of this behavior is excusable.
Yeah.
This behavior shouldn't be accepted, and if true, he should be thrown in jail.
Right. Harvey Weinstein's on. Uh, yeah. I mean, is this federal that they're going after? Is this state? I don't know.
I don't
Either
know.
way, it's
I
not
don't
going
know.
to be good. 11 counts. If they go after him for 11, or if they band together for one, I suppose that's all depends on who's going to be the ones going after him
Mm-hmm.
and what they think would be the best. So, Neil. And some of those pictures, he's starting to look a little like Alan Moore, and we all know what type of freak he is. I'm surprised we
Mm,
haven't heard stories about him. To be
yeah,
honest.
I was just gonna say that. I'm surprised nothing's come out about him
Mm-hmm.
yet.
Yet, even though has been very open about his relationships and open relationships.
Yeah. And the reason why I say yet is because of what you just said. He's been very open about it, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
surprised somebody hasn't come out and stepped forward, especially nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
trying to look at all different angles here.
Well, it's for more. It'll probably be, and I'm not kidding about this, and I'm not even saying that he's guilty. No, don't get me wrong. But for Moore's case, I was feeling about 2 degrees below room temperature is when someone's going to start coming out. They're going to wait until he's gone before people start coming out and saying stuff. If that's the case, I think some people will. But when you do that, it loses a lot of legitimacy.
Mm-hmm.
They're going after him now, Neil now. So I mean, this gives him his day in court, something he wouldn't have in England necessarily.
True.
I mean, be
With
honest, I don't even know where the frig he's living right now. I'm surprised he didn't run off to England in a heartbeat when he figured the news was coming. Arkham would.
who knows what's going on in his head? I don't want to find out, but this is something that I'm sure we're going to hear more about, and
Mm-hmm.
especially with it going to trial at some point, we're going to hear something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Amber Turd, this. Oh my God.
Yeah, Hollywood's a mess, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's going to fall even more. I mean, just look how everything is coming unhinged. And it's the right group of people I want to hear going unhinged because they've been the one that's been causing all of us the most problems in this industry and in this country, too.
Yeah. So, Baron, I'm going to give you this next story to read.
Oh, crap. Okay.
I know. I hear you now. Oh, criminy
I know.
Mike.
You hear me now? Just give me the
There you
freaking link
go.
and I'll read it for you.
There's the link. There's the link. I gave you
Making
the
me
link.
work.
Calm down. Calm down. You got the link.
No, I refuse. I'm calm. Calmer than you. Calmer than you. Oops, damn it.
I'm
I opened the
perfectly
link
calm,
up.
dude.
I opened the link and I accidentally hit the close on it. Oh my God. I'm a muttonhead.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you saw Pin Face.
I always thought Penface was kind of a neat looking person, neat little creature, whatever it is. So I have no problem with him.
I'll go ahead and share my screen so you don't have to worry about sharing it.
Yeah, whatever. And we're talking over that thing. Okay. So this is coming in from Bounding into Comics. It is bylined by Dante Arix and dateline February 2nd, 2025, which is 3 days ago, if I do my math right. Clive Barker's Hellraiser returning to Torment Theaters in 4K with limited screenings, but only for this weekend. So I'm assuming starting Friday of this week. From beyond the outer darkness, from the blackest corner of a family's past, from the nightmarish realm of the imagination comes Hellraiser, a tale of flesh, hunger, and desire from the haunted imagination of horror master Clive Barker, who also did Nightbreed, Rawhead Rex, Candyman, and Lord of Illusion, that lives forever as cherished nostalgia to some and a deep traumatic memory to others. Which is why, Cash Money is a Tofu fan now. Okay, Fathom Entertainment is bringing the 1987 film back to the big screen and select theaters for 2 nights only, February 5th and 6th. It would have been great if they would have done it over a Valentine's holiday. Woohoo! Take the date to see that. And a newly remastered 4K version along with the archived interview Under the Skin, Doug Bradley on Hellraiser, where the dry-witted British actor discusses his first appearance as the iconic Hell Priest, aka Pinhead. The disturbingly graphic horror classic was directed by Barker, not Bob Barker, just let you know, and is an adaptation of his 1986 novella, The Hellbound Heart. Ooh, that should have been the name of the. Oh, that should have been the name. That's, I think, even a better name for the movie. But Hollywood's a bunch of idiots. Hellraiser tells the story of an insatiable hedonist named Frank Cotton, who demands physical gratification that goes beyond any conventional coital activities. Are we talking about this movie or Neil Gaiman? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so very, very sorry. He has grown weary of the world's trivialities and its empty conquests. But that all changes when he finds the lament configuration while traveling the most taboo regions of society's underbelly. Oh, so he did go to Philadelphia. Okay. The configuration was built by a master craftsman from centuries ago. It is a small ornate puzzle box with a mechanical design that opens a gateway to the domain of the Cenobites. They are a religious order of sadistic entities dedicated to the art of blurring the line between pain and pleasure. For any puzzle nerd who simply cannot settle for being an ace at solving Rubik's Cubes. Hellraiser was a box office success that spawned 9 sequels. Well, I didn't know it was 9. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Plus
I didn't
one
realize
remake.
there was 9 sequels myself.
Yeah, I knew there was a few, but not that many. Plus the one remake in 2022, which no one ever talks about, and is often cited, justifiably so, as one of the best horror movies of the 1980s. Definitely iconic. There's no doubt about it. It stars Sean Champman as Super Freak Frank and a heavily latex-covered Oliver Smith as his skinless body double. Andrew Robinson. Oh, I wonder who the hell that is. Cobra, Child's Play 3, Pumpkinhead,
Plain, simple Garrick.
Dirty Harry, DS9, yeah, portrays Frank's vanilla beta brother, Larry. I love how they wrote that. With Claire Higgins as his dissatisfied wife, Julia, who shows just how far she's willing to go to scratch an itch. Yeah. It features American horror goddess Ashley Lawrence in her first film role as lead protagonist, Christy Cotton. Leaving last, but most certainly not least, Doug Bradley and his demonic droogs. Nicholas Vance as Chattering Cenobite, Simon Banford as Butterball, and Grace Kirby as the simply named female Cenobite. Come on, they should have given her even more. Come on, people.
Come on.
Come on, you can do it. Come on, people.
Use those creative juices, Clive.
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with you? For those who do not wish to spend their money to go see a nearly 40-year-old movie on the big screen, will you shut up? That's how you're supposed to see it. Our good friends at Tubi have a perfectly fine non-4K version of Hellraiser available for free. It is mandatory, by the way, to pair this film with its worthy sequel, Hellbound Hellraiser 2, which is also free to watch on Tubi. Double the pleasure, no pain for your finance. But you know what? Seeing a film like this in a theater is where it's fun.
Yeah.
But
And it's a perfect example of why you should see a movie like this in the theater, especially a movie that was made back in 87, well, at least released back in 87. It's because they took pride in what they made back then.
Yeah, absolutely so. And you know, when you're with a group of people and they're going ooh ah and shock and screaming and filling their shorts, just don't bring Joe along. That's what you want. I mean, this is supposed to be a communal experience of horror.
I mean, that's what made, saying Christmas Vacation so fun in
Yep.
theaters because for me, it was my first time seeing the movie in theaters instead of sitting at home and watching it.
Hmm.
And it was also great when I went and saw The Big Lebowski for its 25th anniversary.
Yeah. Well, going back to the fact that saw a lot of these for first time in theaters, Ghostbusters, Airplane, all those things. I mean, I mean, it, it was just absolutely absolutely fun. And I went to in Jamestown, North Dakota. I went to see the Phantom Menace. I think it was the third time I saw it,
Hmm.
and it was just amazing how when they had the scene where Darth Maul pulls his hood back before he starts fighting our friends Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, all the gasps in the theater, and the former long suffering and I are looking at each other going, "Didn't they see the previews?"
Well,
But still,
be- be-
that's the fun. That's the fun of it, though.
before I add to that, I just want to say hello to the Pet Wannabe who hopes everyone's week is going positively. It is. I hope your week is going positively too, the Pet Wannabe. I mean, I only saw it with a few people in the theater last year for in the Phantom Menace's anniversary, but
Hmm.
even that was fun. The only thing that wasn't fun was seeing the 3 minutes of the Acolyte.
Oh, that's when everybody got up, and that's why there weren't so many people in the theater when Phantom Menace started. Okay, I see. At least you were able to hold your ground.
But again, seeing the movie again on the big screen, it was fun. Yes, I've watched it several times since I first saw it in '99, but still, to get that theater experience, sitting there
Hmm.
in your theater seat, eating popcorn, which I was,
Hmm.
it was a fun experience.
Feet stuck to the floor because of all the sugary
All the
stuff
soda
and all that.
and
Yeah.
candy and
Hmm. The good things in life. Say, can
yeah.
somebody help me?
I'm stuck. I can't move. Why can't you move? all all the candy, all the sodas that spilled.
But that's how I used to go shoe shopping. I'd go to the theaters and see if I can find a pair of tennis shoes that are stuck to the floor that they had to leave behind. And just, okay, well, I know the way to get it off there. I got the stuff to get that clean off. Now, okay, I got a new pair of shoes. Yeah, squish, 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 squish. Hey, look at me! I'm walking on the ceiling.
Spider Baron, Spider Baron.
It does whatever a spider baron does.
What does a Spider Baron do, by the way?
Sits in a beanbag chair wearing only underwear, eating cheese doodles, and watching the TV with my cats and dogs.
But yeah, if you have a theater that's showing this, it's for tonight and tomorrow. Go see it.
Yeah, go.
I'm gonna check and see if my theater is showing it.
That'd be
Sometimes
great.
they
It
show
would.
these events, sometimes they don't. It's like get
Oh,
on the
kind of like
ball.
sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, mountains don't. Because
I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm looking,
he's a looking.
I'm looking. I don't see it for tonight. Not that I would go tonight. I'm just looking.
Well, no. Oh, that's right. It's for tonight and tomorrow. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
why
yeah.
on Wednesday and Thursday? Come on, man.
I know when they have these special Fathom events and they have it, during the week. It's like no, have it during the weekend, and have it at a time where people can actually go see it.
Yeah, but that might knock the new stuff coming out out of the top 10.
Uh, well, too bad for the new stuff.
Mm, you get what you deserve.
No, they're not showing it at my local theater.
Mm-mm. So Mike's gonna take off after night, do that 3-hour trip, and be sitting in line right away at the next one,
You
next
kidding?
February.
I got to drive 2 hours to get to the next one.
And that's what I said. You're gonna get in the car, travel 3 hours, and camp like they did with the Star Wars films. And overnight, there you are. one guy from the news agency could come out and talk to this nut job who's sitting in front of the theater to see Hellraiser, and then Triumph the insult comic, but a dog will show up too, and insult you.
You know what's good about this guy? He's good enough for me to poop on.
Yeah. Poop, poop, poop.
And Jet Sparks says, just stopping by to say hi. Hello, Jet Sparks. I hope your weekend was good, and I hope the week is going well for you as well.
Yeah, hey there, Jets. Get those afterburners going.
All right, so we know about Hellraiser coming back to theaters, but did you know that there's a school out there that'll actually teach you how to write sci-fi and fantasy? And right now, in order to get free tuition, all you have to do is say one thing.
What could that possibly be?
I'm gonna bring it up if you hit the next video.
Oh, you want me to hit that video? Okay.
I want you. Yeah, the next article video.
Yeah. Okay. Making sure I got the right one here. Okay. There we go. Don't worry, I'm all ready for the next one too.
We're a semi-well-oiled machine here. Sometimes the gears get out of place, and I'm insulting myself too, dude. Don't take it so personal.
I am. Of course I am.
He's so sensitive, this one.
I am sensitive. I'm a sensitive, caring male. Scum. Sensitive, caring, urban male. Scum. There we go.
A Superman versus Pinhead could be fun.
Ooh.
Could be.
Ooh.
Could be.
Yeah.
So this article is from Fandom Pulse. This is actually one that Cash posted in our group on Discord. And I said, yeah, we're talking about it.
Well, shouldn't he be here to read it for us? No, of course not.
Well, he's not here, Baron. He's not
looking
here.
At you, Cash.
He had to run some errands before the show, so when he gets here, he gets here.
I know. I'm just impatient. But, one of the names in that headline doesn't surprise you, does it? Huh?
Oh, no. Actually, two of the names shouldn't surprise you. One of them, has a book that people have been waiting on, and who knows if they're ever going to get it, while the other, we just talked about him.
Well, there's a sick, egotistical, sexual pervert in Neil Gaiman in there. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just getting the links out to the different platforms, and then I'll start reading the story.
Oh, I tell you, well-oiled machine.
So this school says they will pay your way if you're transgendered. And once again, it is by Fandom Pulse. And it says, the Clarion Writers Workshop used to be the place to be an aspiring science fiction or fantasy writer. The 6-week-long summer retreat had serious writers leave their jobs, families, and lives for intensive writing training by the top talent in the industry. Past instructors included George R.R. Martin and Neil Gaiman when they were in their prime. But at this point, another sci-fi institution has become a woke nightmare with the introduction of a scholarship for transgendered writers. The woke have ruined science.
Well, George R. R. Martin, yeah.
The woke have ruined science fiction publishing over the last decade, with an emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion being forced into every aspect of the genre. The Hugo Awards have become a joke, with activists winning over works of fiction that people enjoy reading. Several magazines actively discriminate against white people to promote skin color and gender ideology over merit. We surprised? I'm not surprised. You surprised, Baron? Anyone surprised?
I'm shocked. I'm just shocked.
Now
No, not really.
Claire Now Clarion Writers Workshop is doing much the same, doubling down on the woke in 2025 beyond the time intensiveness of leaving one's life for 6 weeks. The tuition for the program is I'm not paying $6,000. I don't care
Ugh,
how good it is. I don't care how good it is.
oof today. Oof today.
That that is unless you're a mentally ill man pretending to be a woman. Then they will fund your way. In an announcement on their
Well, no
website.
mincing words there, was it?
No, no, no. In an announcement on their website, they posted, "We are delighted to announce a C-Star Scholarship, an annual full tuition scholarship for our flagship 6-week workshop offered by an anonymous donor, which will be awarded each year to one qualifying student who identifies as two-spirit, trans, non-binary, or under the gender expansive umbrella."
Thanks, Obama.
Through the generosity of our donors, Clarion West provides a number of scholarships for writers every year. Approximately 60 to 90% of our 6-week workshop participants receive full and partial tuition scholarships. Interested students must indicate financial need when applying to the summer workshop. Applications are reviewed without regard to financial aid request. You can learn more about the scholarships for the 6-week workshop here. I'll include the link in case anyone's curious enough to check it out.
Ah,
So give me a second to copy and paste it to all the platforms that we are streaming on, and those services that we are streaming on are YouTube, Rumble, and X.
yeah, Adam Moss is writing this down really quick so he can go out there and do his writing.
And real quick before I continue, Jet Spark says, let's see. There was kind of nothing much to do. My birthday is Saturday the 1st, but order pizza, eat cake, and watch movies the whole day. Hey, that doesn't sound bad to me.
It's a winner.
Didn't want to stream though. Well, you don't have to stream. You can do whatever you
Not at
want on your
all.
birthday.
Yeah, it's your birthday. Do it. Do it. Do it. Yeah, it's your birthday.
It says at Clarion West, we are proud to be part of a supportive community of trans, two-spirit, non-binary, and other gender-expansive authors who continue to change and inform the landscape of speculative fiction for the better. We know that trans writers are and will continue to be essential in expanding the boundaries of SFFH and are equally essential excuse me, in inviting new, exciting voices into the field. We know the journey for each trans writer is different, and that trans people represent all racial and ethnic backgrounds, faith traditions, and countries and around the world. And we know that while there has been significant progress world in the publishing world, the transgender community is still facing significant political and personal attacks through discrimination and violence, especially against black and brown trans women. We remain committed to supporting trans authors and learning how to better support them in a field that can be hostile and unwelcoming. We do this through our efforts to provide an intersectional framework of support for trans authors. The organization welcomes trans faculty, seeks to create supportive spaces for trans authors in workshop groups, and makes every effort to create an inclusive community throughout our programs. Sounds more like pandering to me, but hey,
Uh, so are they pulling the science fictions on a welcoming area? Come on, bullshit. Bull,
it's
bull,
always been
bull, bull.
welcoming. Look at Star Trek, for example. How welcoming that show has
Well,
been. The Orville, how welcoming that show has been.
you had Octavia Butler, who was a black lesbian. Arthur C. Clarke, he was batting for the same team. The thing is these people didn't go out there and make a big deal about it.
No.
They weren't
You
using
know what
these
they did,
things as
Baron?
the
You know
bait.
what they did? They honed their craft and they submitted their
Mhm.
work.
Right. And they came out with something that was worthy to read.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I mean, if you need to wear a label to get an award, you're a failure. Unless that label is GOAT, greatest of all time. You know, and there's very few that can wear that label.
Mm-hmm.
Clark, Asimov, Bradbury, Ellison, uh, just to name a couple right there. Uh, but if this is your basis, we're going to go out there and have them come in for free. And not only that, not teach them about writing, but their feelings. You failed. It's about
Don't
sometimes.
don't you want these students to learn the proper structure for writing a science fiction story, for writing a fantasy story, so they can use what they've learned
Yeah.
to write their own stories in the future? Maybe
Right.
get onto a show, whether it's an established series or a brand new series, and take what they've learned and put it to good use in writing a script that people years from now will talk about.
Well, I mean, honestly.
Have these science fiction writers write the next Tomorrow is Yesterday.
Hmm. Well, hey, why don't you go find uh I just had the name on it. David Gerald's book on how to write. Find that one and read through it about 3-4 times. He was gay and he's a writer and he's an award
Hmm.
winner and he's great. Okay, there.
Yeah.
If you happen to be part of the Rainbow Plus crowd, right there, you're supporting a homosexual who writes great science fiction. Uh, and yeah, there we go. Enough said. You don't need to go there for affirmation. And the
No.
thing is when you're going to something like this where we're going to have a safe space for all you, that's the wrong thing because writing science fiction, all that stuff, it should be in some way make you a little uncomfortable, puts you out of your safe space. It makes
Well,
you supposed to think
well
if you do it
let,
properly. That is.
let's go back to Star Trek. And one of the keys of Star Trek. We put all our grievances behind us here on Earth in Star Trek's future. We put an end to prejudice, which would include looking at people who, you know, have a different sexual lifestyle and holding prejudices against them. We put an end to hunger. Everything that we're suffering from now in Star Trek's future, the one that Gene Roddenberry wrote, not the crap that Alex Kurtzman is writing. We put an end to it in Gene Roddenberry's future. And what they're doing here, it's not going to help.
No. That's because they're all obsessed with either zombies or dystopia. Either way, they're all obsessed with a destroyed world.
Mm-hmm.
World destruction in that building.
Yeah, dystopians.
Mm-hmm. And it's like time to get your head out of your dystopian butts and start thinking about other things. I'm not saying that you should go down the lollipop field and everything is cheery. No, that's not the point.
No, nothing's
It-
full of rainbows and unicorns and
Right.
whipped cream covered in rainbow sprinkles.
And dystopian is fun to visit now and then. I mean, take a look: Mad Max, Blade Runner. I mean, the list goes on there of great dystopian. They just kind of lost the way of doing great dystopian. Now it's just all we're getting is they're bitching and moaning out there about life, and that doesn't grab you. It doesn't grab you. But if you're able to look onto a level that's beyond that, yeah, we're getting to a better place, but we're stumbling. We make stumbles along the way. Bad things happen. If you're going to have your main character an old poor me whiny butt, that doesn't last long. People get bored with that. People get tired of that, except for the sycophants. And if you just want sycophants, which is a small group of people, go ahead. But again, shame on the Hugos and all that. I mean, when they're giving out awards to fantasy novels, not science fiction, it shows you how far they've fallen. Also shows why I don't read new science fiction. Because most of it's crap. And this is the reason why. Look how George R. R. Martin's treating you all that are big fans of his. Yeah. He got that arrogant attitude towards you guys, saying, "Oh, I made a promise to finish it up, but how dare you ask me about it?" And treats the fans like crap, and then presides over the HBO series. And yeah, he had things to do with that last season, as some people speculated that was kind of a rough draft of how he was seeing the end his story, and maybe this was a dry run to see how people liked it. Well, guess what? People didn't, which probably set him back. And I don't know where I'm going with the other. In fact, this is just shit. This is shit. I want good writers again. I want people expanding beyond, listening to. There's a hopefulness to the future. Because if we don't have a hopefulness for the future, then why do we give a fuck? Let's just end it now. And humanism is bullshit. Because that's what they're wanting to strive for. But you always slouch towards Gamora. Again, struggles are great. It's part of the hero's journey. We're not getting heroes on a hero's journey no more. We're getting basically the author on a psychiatric couch sharing with the rest of the freaking world. And I don't want to know. I don't. Don't worry, this too shall pass. I hope. Oh my. Can people hear me? I hope so. Hi everybody, how you doing out there? I hope we haven't had a problem with Mike, because I haven't heard him. But you're wrong as talking about, because there are some of the people that we're wanting to have take over, like Seth MacFarlane. And Seth MacFarlane went from zero to woke in a heartbeat, especially when the Orville started to become popular. But he forgot the important thing about doing something like that, doing something like a Star Trek. You gotta, you can't go woke with it. You gotta bring out uncomfortable things even on your side. And yeah. And he had a failure frame anime. I have no idea what that is. You're wrong. I really, really don't. Hey, Padawannabe, he hears me. I'm in his. Oh, yeah, it looks like we have lost Mike, sadly. So I'll maybe be taking over the show for a few moments. The bad thing is as usual, I don't know what he has on his plate. Give me a few seconds here as we go along. But, the news conference was not over yet. I was able to ask some more questions of our president. So I'm going to let you enjoy that while I make sure and find the next story.
Mr. President, are you going to buy that national hamburger restaurant chain and rename it McDonald Trump's? Well, let me tell you, Baron Orman, I've been asked a lot of questions in my career, but that one takes the cake. Or should I say the Big Mac? Now, listen, I've built some massive, beautiful buildings. I've sold some prime real estate, and I've even run a little show called the United States of America. But buying McDonald's, that's more crooked Hillary speed. I mean, can you imagine it? McDonald Trump's? It's like a match made in a greasy fast food heaven, or maybe a heart attack on a bun. But hey, the Democrats might try to impeach me again for clogging the arteries of this great nation. And you know what I'd say to that? Impeach this. But seriously, folks, I've got better things to do than flip burgers. I'm busy making America great again, not making America fat again, not making America fat again. Though, come to think of it, Trump Tower Burger does sound like a winner, doesn't it? Anyway, thanks for the laugh, Baron. I needed that.
I honestly wasn't going to be trying to make him laugh or anything. I have another story here coming up here, and I suppose I should keep it in mind of how Mike likes to do this because, you know, we have to at least keep things on a norm. So what we got going on here, this is coming from Fandom Pulse yet again, boys and girls, written by Fandom Pulse. It always throws me off when I see that forward byline. The headline is original D&D designer Robert J. Kuntz blasts Wizards of the Coast mishandling of orcs in the new Monster Manual 2024, also known as Mexican Orcs, because that's what they're insultingly doing. God, those idiots. So we'll start off here. Fans became upset after an article went viral on Dungeons & Dragons, alerting tabletop RPG players that the new D&D Monster Manual removed orcs. Now, original D&D designer Robert J. Kuntz puts Wizards of the Coast on blast for their mishandling of evil creatures like orcs. With a new... Oh, get out of there. With the new edition of D&D, Wizards of the Coast has already courted controversy with their changes to the game by adding a diversity, equality, and inclusion agenda on top of their core rule books. In other words, if you don't feel safe, you gotta make the symbol. D&D players, as a result, have been watching their beloved role-playing game of questing and fighting monsters turn into a political cudgel and social conditioning tool by the Hasbro Corporation. Before the new Monster Manual began being promoted, the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide infamously incorporated BDMS fetish community practices in the game for safe spaces, having players make an X with their arms if they feel triggered by a situation and requiring a DM to stop the game and address the player in question. The 2024 Player's Handbook is filled with imaginary imagery of BIPOC and female characters at a margin of more than 5-1 for white males characters, about the direct opposite of the demographics who plays the game. Dungeons & Dragons came under further scrutiny after it was revealed senior designer Jason Tandrell penned a foreword to a history book on Dungeons & Dragons calling Gary Gygax misogynist and accusing him of cultural appropriation. Well, you know, I used to say this about somebody else, but now I'm going to guide this to somebody new. Jason Tandrell, fuck you. Just fuck you. This prompted Elon Musk to beg the question as to how much Hasbro costs for him to buy the parent company of Wizard of the Coast and save Dungeons & Dragons from all these woke controversies. The new 2024 Monster Manual has made a lot of woke changes, including removing orcs, but also adding gender ideology elements to creatures like hags, succubus, and sphinx is. Fans have been vocal in complaining about the mistreatment in the game. Former World of Warcraft lead designer Mark Kern, aka Grums, posted about all of the troubles this edition of D&D is having so far, saying half elves gone from the new D&D player's handbook. D&D 2024 has done so much damage to Dungeons and Dragons that to Wizard of the Coast woke designers, thanks to Wizard of the Coast woke designers, removes half elves from the game due to it being somehow racist. What are they about racial purity now? Yeah, I mean, now they're sound like the Austrian goose stepper, doesn't it? Yeah, it's like we have to have that purity test. How is that not even more racist? Removes half orcs from the same game. Same reason. Removes orcs as a monster from the monster manual because they think orcs are black people, but it's okay. They made them Mexican in their new art instead. None of this was offensive to anyone. Their virus-infected brains are out of control and spinning racism where there is none. Of course, that was from Grums, and you can see the actual tweet right there that he had. And I think we can get rid of that world's greatest role-playing game now, honestly. This prompted original D&D designer Robert J. Kuntz to give his impression of orcs from the classic perspective. He stated, they are now a species, quote unquote, and in the player's handbook, from what I understand, orcs born of Tolkien understood to be specifically tortured and changed elves and mutated life forms born for pure evil purposes by wizardry and monstrous in kind, have now been added to civil society as just another species occurring in the evolutionary chain. They were just misunderstood all along. You buggers misunderstanding them. You see, and it is now your fault not to recognize that when they are slipping a blade into you. Utter drivel, creative hackery at its best, a literary appropriation and postmodern obliteration of Tolkien's work and efforts to it now made a mockery of the world stage. And he would know. This is correct. Orcs have always been evil beings dating back to Tolkien, and attempting to treat them as a modern culture of black people or Mexicans is insulting to current modern cultures as well as the legacy of orcs in fantasy. Absolutely right. If you go out there and you honestly think that orcs are nothing but a veiled, thin imagery of black people, you're the racist. You're the one that has the problem. If you're the one that associates with that and starts getting outraged, you're the one. Because obviously it's not working when what this is being directed at, the people that this is being directed at, don't see it and don't care. To be honest with you, all an orc is a goblin on steroids. Honestly. Remember, in the first book, The Hobbit, there were no orcs. They were all goblins. But then those goblins became orcs. So he clarified his disdain for what Wizards of the Coast has done with the game in another post saying, WotC, WOTC, is what we call it, WotC. In fact, the appropriators of once understood and accepted culture, historical, now literacy. They have crossed the Rubicon in stepping into fantasy fiction big wheelhouse. What is next? Will all such sincere and once literary consult deviations, talking there, from myth and fiction that TSR used while maintaining a semblance of truth according to the author's intent and reinterpreted in kind? If I were a literary estate of a major fantasy fiction author, I would go nowhere near WotC, as they would likely remake such works from them in their worldview and not as intended by the author. It is clear fans are not happy with the current edition of Dungeons and Dragons. I wouldn't know. I haven't seen it. I don't care. And WotC is likely to lose sales because of that. Players only wonder how long those woke activists will continue to destroy the fantasy RPGs that they love. What do you think of the original D&D designers Robert J. Kuntz's commentary on orcs in Dungeons and Dragons? Please leave a comment below, or please leave one in the chat, because we want you guys to talk too. We like to have your opinion as well. And I see Mike is back. Welcome back, Mike.
I hope you can hear me now.
I can hear you now.
And unfortunately, I won't be able to get my thoughts on this since I had to do a few things to try to get my settings working again. Thank you, Evie Mux.
Well, you knew what the story was about. Honestly.
I knew what the story was about by the headline, but you know how we do it here.
Yeah, I know how we do it. You don't read beforehand. I don't.
So I will go by what you say, and then I will read it later.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, the only place I'm seeing appropriation, racism, and all that is with WotC and those people there. They scream about appropriation, but yet they'll take these things that appropriate themselves and destroy it. That's the thing about quote unquote appropriation, what they accuse appropriation of. If you enjoy a different culture other than yourself, especially if it's one that's not in your ethnicity, and you enjoy it and you embrace it, and you use or be entertained by elements of that, or use some of that into your own personal life. Even if you are someone who is a creator of some sort, being comic writer, writer, does songs, whatever, arts, whatever, right? You're showing your appreciation and trying to keep it to as pure to what it is. You're an appropriator.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with appropriation. No. A connoisseur is someone who has an interest, is someone who's respectful, is someone who that you want there. I mean, if you have a white woman sitting there amongst a lot of black women, learning what their culture was and trying to spread it out there and show the world what it's about by becoming as much of an expert as possible in that field, you're not appropriating a damn thing. You're sharing it, which only helps peace, right? To understand what other people are like, right? Mm-hmm. The appropriation here is taking something that totally exists and destroying it. Again, the gaslighting. This is gaslighting. Again, this is, we're the guilty ones, but we don't want you to look at us for being guilty. We're going to take this and destroy it. D&D, what appropriation? You mean Europe? Gary Gygax's family from Europe. My family from Europe. So many things within the original D&D. You'd want to say appropriated. Inspired from Greek, Roman, Norse, Mesopotamian, Jewish, Egyptian, all this. Now, obviously, you need to say the Egyptian is in Africa. Shock of shocks. But, you mean to tell me that he was going into his own folklores and fantasies of his people and religions and using that as well as those surrounding around? How is that appropriation when you're using your stuff? Just like Tolkien was using basically what was around England, because he wanted to have an English folklore, because he thought King Arthur was too Francofied. So what are you using? You're using what was influencing England, the Anglo-Saxons, the Norse, even those, the Welsh, the Finns, right? So you're going to take that was an influence on that little country, that little island country, and turn it into the book. And instead of, of course, we need to have something more ferocious than goblins. So he, again, gave a bunch of steroids to a bunch of these goblins, and they became orcs. With that interesting backstory about how they're taken, abused, twisted, destroyed, taking a beautiful object and turned into these monstrous things. Exactly what the woke is doing. They don't like this because this is exactly showing what they're doing. The orc is what they're doing. They're taking something that's beautiful, destroying and twisting it, and then starting screaming that about appropriations and how this is racist. But yet they're the ones that are doing it.
Mm-hmm. Notice how it's the
And
ones that scream it the loudest. They're perpetrating this.
right. Well, it's just like whatever that twat waffle's name, I can't remember, but there was one twat waffle that came out and wrote an article about the original D&D first edition Oriental Guide. And because he was Asian, right, he was pissing and moaning about how horrible this is. It's going off of stereotypes, blah, 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 yada, yada. It's not historically correct, blah, blah, blah. And it comes down to the fact, did you ever open a book of D&D? Did you ever look at the world of Greyhawk? Did you ever even look at the Forgotten Realms? None of these places is doing anything truly true historic. They're taking elements
remember
of
that
history.
story. Remember that story we read several months back where there was a woman saying she was never included in any D&D games, any tabletop games, because of the
Yeah,
fact that she was a woman.
yeah. I think she smelled. That's why.
And
But yeah,
how it seems like the common thing with a lot of people is saying I wasn't included because of this reason, that reason, or the other. They're trying to get attention.
yeah. Well, maybe it's because of you. It's like if you're going to all these groups and they're telling you to F off, maybe it's a youth thing, especially
Mm-hmm.
those groups have women in it and girls. Maybe you wanted to go in there and start trying to change everything so it's all about you. Well, you're gonna get your it tossed out on your ass. But this guy was complaining about cultural appropriation and all that about the Orient. It's like, have you not looked at D&D where it came out of Europe? Show me where it's not the same thing there.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're at it, then ban every Bruce Lee film. Because I assure you, that influenced a lot of people's way of thinking the Orient is, the Asia is. And of course, those elements creeping into Dungeons and Dragons. Again, it's fun. It's not supposed to be a textbook in any sense of the imagination.
No,
Oh my God, there's stereotypes.
it's supposed to be an escape.
Right. Oh my God, there's stereotypes. Well, congratulations. Ding, 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 ding. Stereotypes are out there no matter what.
Mm-hmm. It's
Now,
in comedy.
Yeah. Are you going to have fun with the stereotypes? Or are you going to use it in a malicious way? I'm sorry. People have earned, groups have earned, genders have earned the stereotypes that get dumped on them. It's how you just use it, right? The guy never asks for direction. The woman, when she says, I'll take me 5 minutes, give me 5 minutes to change, and it's 3 hours later. I mean, those are the stereotype jokes.
Mm-hmm.
They're funny. Ha ha. Right? It goes for everybody. And like
there
you said,
was a
the basis of
time where
comedy.
we could tell a joke and nobody would be offended by it.
Right.
Because we all knew it was a joke. It was told in humor. Now you try to tell a joke and somebody's immediately up in arms about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Exactly. And now look at one of the most insulting things you could do to a group of people, especially what's going on now. What we're facing at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're going to take an
all the
invading...
protests that are going on right now.
Right. So, WotC, you're going to take what has been for generations, especially since the 1950s, mid-50s, when Tolkien actually had published The Lord of the Rings, because that's when orcs first appeared, right? So you're going to take something that's been since the 50s, over half a century, right, of these evil creatures that are nothing but barbaric, simple-minded, killing invaders, raiders, right down the line. These piece of filth. And now what you're going to do is try to associate with Mexicans. If I was Mexican or Hispanic, doesn't matter, any of that, I would be livid. I would love to hear what Mexican Iron Man would have to say does say about this, right?
Yeah, me too.
But
Me too.
that's the insult. This is the insult. Not what we had for over a century. This woke crap. Let's make these barbarian invading scumbags Mexicans. Great. Bravo. Bravo. Tell us that you're not tell us that you're racist without telling us that you're racist.
Exactly. I mean, hell, I'm playing Shadow of Mordor right now. What do the orcs want to do? They want to kill and enslave the humans.
And eat them too.
Mm-hmm.
No, meat's on the menu, boys. It's simple. And I know they're fucking around with stuff inside the Monster Manual. There's no race is truly evil no more, just misunderstood. Bitch, please.
We're
fine.
human beings. We're human beings. We're not flawless. We have our flaws.
Mike, why don't we just put that to the next level? Yeah, Nazis weren't bad. They were just misunderstood. Oh,
that's how Disney sees their villains. They're all misunderstood. They're not evil. They're misunderstood. Wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get Springtime for Hitler out there for real. Then let's do the producer job. I mean, right. I mean, talk about talking out of both sides of their asses when it comes to this. There's no such thing as evil things unless it's Orange Man, Austrian Man, and all that. But yet they still love Che Guevara, who did many horrible things to people.
Yeah, he was no angel. He was no saint.
He deserved what he got. It just should have happened sooner. Let's just put it that way. And anybody who puts a tattoo or wears a shirt, you're a moron. It's like, okay, well, Stalin and all his cronies were all misunderstood, especially the ones that got airbrushed out of the photographs, aka they were offed. It was a misunderstanding. It was just a minor misunderstanding Stalin had with Trotsky. I mean, it's sad that Trotsky died, but I mean, really, it was just a misunderstanding, nothing more. Right? It's just misunderstood. There's evil out there.
Mm-hmm.
Real evil. And then you pull this stunt. There's not really evil out there. Really?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, well, look at history. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. We want to sweep history under the rug. And act like it never happened.
Well, again, they're the first one that says, oh, there's no evil people out there. But Orange Man bad and blah, blah, blah. And anyone who follows him, oh, they're just as bad. And they should be taken care of, if you know what I mean. We nudge.
We've already heard that today.
Yep.
Representatives calling for violence.
Yeah. Wonderful people, aren't they? Mm-hmm. I only call for violence in the video games. Get those orcs, get those Skaven, get those chaos people.
When we have our multiplayer Fridays and we're playing Vermintide 2, we are going after the Skaven.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're coming after us.
Right. Well, because it's chaos. It's evil.
Mm-hmm.
It's destructive. Chaos is always destructive. Order is builds. Chaos destroys. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't fall in the camp of this Big Bang theory where that created everything. All the Big Bang was a giant chaos thing. You don't build things with chaos. There has to be some form of order. Try better next time. Right? And before anybody gets on my case about being a religious fanatic, Sir Fred Hoyle, who was not a religious man, was the one that coined the phrase Big Bang because he was mocking it because he did not believe that. He believed in the grand expansion, not the explosion. And look it up. Yes, that is one of the theories. But he was called. But they try to bury that one, because the science is settled bullshit. So,
no, we're still finding out about our own galaxy and the universe that we inhabit.
Right.
And even then, we do get it wrong.
Well, yeah. And that's not being harsh or cruel. Because we try to do the best with what we got now. But 5, 10, 50 years later, someone will come discover something, a device that's able to discover and find out, they thought that was a good idea, but it wasn't. And now we found out what it is. I mean, anyone who goes out there and starts mocking about people in the old days believing that the sun went around the earth or whatnot, it's like, just take a step back. The center of the earth being the center of the universe was actually a scientific, quote unquote, law done by secular Greeks. And the church just happened to agree with the quote unquote science and was fighting for that science.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone wants to make it seem like it was the church that went out there and did. No, it was secular Greeks back in the BC times. And everybody thought all the way. I mean, you had Romans writing about how if you go up further, far up into the north, you can actually see the heads of the horses pulling the sun across. Look it up. It's in the Germania and Agricola. Tacticus. Read his work.
And I do want to say hello to Alex Moore. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel.
Not to be confused with Alan Moore. No. Alex Moore is a lot nicer. See what I did there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, again, I mean, I guess I'm too pragmatic. I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe I'm a little bit too red. I don't know. I consider myself an idiot. But again, when it comes around to folklores and stuff like this, you guys are horse shit at WotC. You're not the greatest game anymore. Paizo has been outpacing you. Others are. You're dead. Not because it's a tabletop role-playing game. It's because you're destroying it. And every one of you need to be tossed down a year. Anyone who's in that particular part of the company, the Wizards of the Coast in, if I had the ability, I'd walk in there and fire every single one of you guys on first day. And then start bringing in the people that truly love this game, including the old timers like Kuntz, and say, hey, I just want you just around so we can get things going, right? You don't have to. I'm not looking for you for a long contract unless you want to. Don't get me wrong. I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a long contract, there we go. I talked to Ernie Gygax and the other young Gygax who are no longer young anymore, because they played with their father, and they're all part of that growth of D&D, and try to get it back to that basics. Of course, I think I know a little bit. I mean, I don't think I'm an idiot in that sense, but again, this is coming from a guy who held on with them when we didn't know we were going to have TSR anymore.
Mm-hmm.
These are the ones that want to insult me because if it wasn't for people like me, they wouldn't have jobs destroying our dreams and our memories. You ungrateful sons of a bitches.
Well, they like to attack those of us who care about things like D&D, Star Trek, anything that was already established.
This shows they have no talent. This is an ultimate show that they don't have talent. Not only that, they don't have any empathy. Did you really think about it before you started calling Mexicans? And notice, they're particularly saying Mexicans, right? Because, when you're talking to look at people that are coming up to America, you also got people from Venezuela, you have people coming up from Panama, you got people coming up from Guatemala, other places. It's not just Mexicans, right?
No.
So even in
we have people coming into the country from all over the world.
Right. So your virtual signaling right there is a slap in the face of different people because not all their cultures are the same. They might be Hispanic people, but their places have their own cultures, even within Mexico itself. Which state are you in? Because, they got states down there, folks. The state of Chihuahua is my favorite one. Tijuana and stuff like that. But, somebody from this part of Mexico is not, does things different than that person in Mexico, just like we have in this country, right? But you're going to make it, the orcs are Mexicans. Okay, way to go insulting the rest of the Hispanics down there while we're at it. And let's make them scum. These are scummy people, so let's just, You have no empathy. You have just insulted these people.
Mm-hmm.
My God,
Yeah,
go out
yeah.
there and wear the
The sad
sheets with
thing,
the
like we've
pointed
been
hoods.
saying, they don't care.
No,
They don't see it that way.
no. They're filth. I am not the problem for racial things. I am the farthest away. These assholes are. Wake up, people. It boils my blood on many levels. Not just the fact that they're destroying this game, but they're going out there and insulting a group of people. My
Mm-hmm.
grandmother was one of those that loved that culture down in Santa Fe, the mix of the American Indians and the Mexicans and Spaniards, because there is a difference between Mexicans and Spaniards, believe it or not. Uh,
No.
and she just loved it. That's why she moved down to Santa Fe and experienced that, and would wear their wear items and have Kachina dolls and paintings of Kachinas in her house. Oh, she would be yelled at for being being inappropriate. No, she loved it, and she was trying to embody it to a degree, and she was trying to learn about it.
Mm-hmm. You know, my late mother loved Native American pottery, Native
Mm-hmm.
American jewelry.
Yeah.
She would buy that, you know, for herself, or sometimes when my dad would go on fishing trips, he would
Mm-hmm.
stop by his store on his way home and buy her new pottery or new jewelry.
Yeah.
Did they get mad at him for buying that jewelry or the pottery, or my mom for buying that jewelry or the pottery? No. Why? Because that's what they were in the business to do: sell the jewelry, sell the
Right.
pottery. And when I can remember, we went to one of the Native American museums in New Mexico, and just being able to not only learn about the different tribes that were in the New Mexico area, but
Mm-hmm.
you know everything that they did as far as their rituals, their routines, their dances.
Yeah.
We went to this museum. It was on the outskirts of Albuquerque, and we got to witness one of their dances. They didn't want you taking video. They said still pictures are fine, but don't
Mm-hmm.
take any video.
Mm-hmm. I think I know what museum you're talking about.
Mhm.
I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that place also has a has a conquistador or a chainmail armor that they put on the dummy backwards. um, I still get a kick out of that. Well, yeah, and that's just it. I mean, for crying out loud, just go downtown Santa Fe and walk along
Hmm.
Palisade of Covenants and look at all the people selling Mexican, American Indian,
Yeah.
both
You, you could go to downtown
jewelry, art.
Albuquerque, Baron,
Oh yeah.
and the
Oh, Old
weekend.
Town Albuquerque. Yeah, Old
Yeah.
Town Albuquerque. Yeah. Go early because you're going to be there for a long time. You might need to make a second visit down there. That
Uh,
place is just spectacular.
when we went the first time we went, we looked at all the different vendors, what they were selling. There's one of the churches there. We went inside
Mm-hmm.
the church,
Yeah.
and it, it was just a sight to behold.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Santa Fe. You have have America's oldest church,
Hmm.
which isn't
I've
too
been in
far
there.
away.
I've been in
Yep.
there.
Yeah, you got a duck. Let's just put it that way, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
love how that part where they have that, well, not glass, but clear plexiglass where you can look down below, and it's like almost where you could see how it was built up upon itself. And
Hmm.
it's been ages since I've seen it. And then, of course, you got the Miracle Church with that staircase.
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna mention that. You're reading my mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, how can I talk about that when you bring up churches down in New Mexico?
I've got to find those pictures. I've got them on
Mm-hmm.
one of my hard drives, but I gotta
Mm-hmm.
find them.
Oh yeah, I mean, the staircase that was made with no
nails. There are
nails.
absolutely no nails in it.
Yeah, yeah. The only ones that has nails in there is when they added the railing long afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's because the nuns wanted to. They were praying to God for a miracle because they had only a ladder to get up to that choir loft up there, and they wanted something safer and better. And this guy came out of nowhere, did the job, and disappeared.
And then left.
Yeah. And then how he made it again? How he made it? No nails.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah.
People have studied it, and they can't figure out how.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sorry. Even if you don't believe in God or religion, you have to sit back and say this is a miracle. I'm sorry. There's just some things in this world that, how the hell? I mean, it made it on Unsolved Mysteries amongst other shows. But yeah, it's just. Yeah, but the thing is, again, you got people that know how to do that stuff and still can't figure it out. So, I mean, what exactly was this? I mean, it's just, and you know what? I love these miracles. I love these things that they're here, they're right in front of your eyes, but you can't explain it, but yet they exist.
And I can't say I am familiar with the Japanese techniques.
No, I'm not either. I don't. They like a lot of paper mache though, especially when they do those Godzilla films. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so very, very sorry. Number one, I'm so sorry.
And Yaron says the greatest miracle is the miracle of friendship. Yeah, especially when that Fred is a great healer in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, and DJ, you're absolutely right. I mean, he wasn't Japanese. That's the thing, you know. I can't remember. I can't remember if he was a gringo or if he was actually Spanish or Hispanic or whatnot. I can't remember.
I don't remember them. I don't remember them giving him a nationality of any kind. Just that this guy came in, built the spiral staircase. After he was done, he left.
Yeah, boom. And an answer to a prayer. But I think if they were Japanese, they would have made mention because that's not something you see every day.
No, not back then.
No, you have to go to San Francisco for all the Chinese. But still, at this time, Japanese was still a bit of a closed-off country.
And it's good to see Red Snub.
Where have you been? No, welcome.
He popped in last night when I was playing Shadow of Mordor, and I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody who stops by, whether you stop by for Pop Talk or a gaming stream or both. Thank you very much.
Too bloody and violent. Those poor orcs. Orcs lives matter. Yeah, now more than ever, orcs lives matter.
Tripping Orc wasn't too happy with me last night. And I did die once, and he's like, "Yay!"
And he's going to be the first one to go out there and grab this new edition of D&D because the orcs are the good guys now.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, again, this is part of that problem. The ones that scream appropriations are the ones that are actually doing it and doing it the way they say, destroying whatever culture or what's important about what they're stealing. Sharing, most of the time, people are culturally sharing.
And there's nothing wrong with people sharing their culture with others. That's how we learn. That's how we grow.
And if someone particularly goes... I mean, when I was part of the Viking Club, actively, and this is like 20 years ago, right? And we're doing our stuff. There was a black guy who wanted to join our group so bad, which he was more than welcome to come in, right? We didn't care. The big rule was you had to have an interest in the history of Vikings, and boy, did this guy have an interest in it. Should we scream appropriation then? Because shouldn't you be more? worried about Shaka Zulu than Olaf, than Harold Bluetooth. No, come on in. Let's have fun, right? We'll find a way. We'll find a way to fit you in, and that's what he did. He said,
Just by welcoming this gentleman,
yeah,
he already fit in. Why? Because he wanted to learn something new. There's nothing
right,
wrong with learning something new. That's
yeah,
what a lot of people seem to be afraid of nowadays, is
right,
learning something new.
right. He'd never joined. Sadly, I would have loved it, but yeah, I mean, the fact that you have people that interested in your culture or your history or whatever, more than happy to share. I'm not going to say it's better than yours. I'm just going to say, I'm better at knowing this more than
Yeah.
yours. And that's the thing. So it's sad that we've come down this way. It's sad that the insults that they're doing within these worlds. I hope you're waking up out there, everyone, at this vile, poison, woke DEI and trying to warp things to be quote unquote inclusive, which of course DEI is part of. Um, Honestly, you had black people in Dungeons and Dragons. One of the main, what like the icon character type things where they show the character for the class that you're looking at was black. Did we complain? Did we say no way? No, we
Oh,
didn't care. At least it wasn't a gnome, you know. But yeah,
there's
I mean,
nothing wrong with taking the time to learn about other cultures and why
right.
things are done a certain way.
Hmm. And the game has evolved in that fashion. I mean, naturally evolved, where you start bringing these other cultures into the game, but then you start doing that again. You get piss ants that complain that you're appropriate, but yet they're screaming that we're not represented. Make up your fucking mind.
You can't have it both ways. Yet
No,
there are people out there who want it both ways. They want their cake and they want to eat it too.
well, that's me, and I usually do. But in all seriousness, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's like you can't whine and bitch about wanting to be invited in and then drive the knife behind someone's back as you're being welcomed.
Hmm. Don't be a
And that's all it
Judas.
is. Judas is back and goes, yeah, I wouldn't go that far. No. Sure, I betrayed the Son of God, but what you're doing, yeah.
So you ready to get into the final story, and we'll take a look at the Megan 2.0 trailer over on the Rumble side.
Rumble, rumble. Oh, that's right. We still got rumble, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Rumble, 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 rumble. I'm ready.
All right,
Ready than you.
all right. Go ahead and play the final story clip if you don't mind, and I'll bring up
Oh, you want to do
trailer.
that? Okay, let me find it here. Boop, 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 boop,
Yes,
boop, boop.
please. Yes, please.
Okay. Did I find it? There we go. Oh, they're happy.
Yeah.
Listen to them.
Well,
Settle down.
I hope everybody's happy. I hope everybody's enjoying the show tonight. If you are, please let us know in the comments and share out the stream. Hit that like
It,
button over on YouTube and Rumble if you haven't done so already.
I mean, as long as they're not happy, the fact that this is the final article in like Waldorf and Stadler saying, "Oh, good, finally, you're done." Ha ha ha!
Oh, good. I thought these two idiots would never shut up. Oh,
Which was it? Oh, it was that game award show. They had the
yeah.
them from
The
Timu.
the Timu version of Waldorf and Stadler.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have this article from Superhero Hype, and It is by Brandon Schurer. It was posted on the 31st of January, and it says Superman creators estate sues DCU movie. Warner Brothers Discovery responds. I bet they do. I bet Zaslav's going, we don't need another lawsuit. Well,
Yeah.
you got one, buddy. You got one.
I'm interested to see what this is about, and I'm just wondering how many times James Gunn's name comes up.
Yeah, that's why I picked it too, because I want to find out some information. But before I read the article, I do want to say hello to Anna's Gameland. Good to see you, Anna. Hey, Mike and
Anna!
Baron, and everyone in chat. Sorry, Superman sucks. Batman forever. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
Oh, pish posh. I give her a pass, not you. But I'm glad that she put that space
Well,
there because it would sound like
I'm the host. I'm the host, so
I don't care.
I could get rid of you like Batman got rid of Joker.
What's wrong with Soups? Come on, man. I'm going to tell Christopher Reeve's estate.
I got nothing wrong with Christopher Reeve's Superman. I grew up watching that movie. I rented that movie over and over again. But when I saw Michael Keaton as Batman, it's like, okay, Batman's cool. Superman, Superman, who?
Oh yeah, I've always liked Bat. To be honest with you, I'm a more Bats guy. I just want to have proper interaction between Bats and Soups.
Yeah,
that's all. And a lot of people haven't been able to do that for the last 20 years.
No, unfortunately. And this article by Brandon Schurer starts off by saying the estate of Superman co-creator Joseph Schuster is suing Warner Brothers Discovery and DC Comics.
Oh, okay, just his family's estate. Okay.
Yeah. Superman opens in United States theaters this July, directed by James Gunn.
Bullshitters!
Yeah, he is. The DCU superhero movie stars David Corenswet as Clark Kent and Rachel Brosnahan, I probably said that wrong, as Lois Lane. Per Deadline, plaintiff Mark Warren Perry, who is the executor of Schuster's estate, filed a lawsuit against Warner Brothers Discovery and DC Comics in federal court in the Southern District of New York on Friday, January 31st.
Yeah, I think they're very protected because of how Schuster and Siegel, is this Siegel? Yeah, Siegel and Schuster were treated by DC for the longest time and screwed over.
Mm-hmm. It says, why is Superman creators estate suing Warner Brothers over DCU movie? The lawsuit is seeking damages and injunctive relief for defendants' ongoing infringement in Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Australia, as well as a declaratory relief establishing the Schuster estate's ownership rights across relevant jurisdictions. This means that Schuster's estate is claiming that the DCU movie lacks the rights to release the upcoming summer tentpole in a handful of key territories.
Mm-hmm.
A Warner Brothers Discovery spokesman said in response to the lawsuit, we fundamentally disagree with the merits of the lawsuit and will vigorously defend our rights. Deadline's article further explains at issue are foreign copyrights to the original Superman character and story, co-authored by Jerome Siegel and Schuster. Though Siegel and Schuster assigned worldwide Superman rights to DC's predecessor in 1938 for a mere $65 each, the copyright laws of countries with the British legal tradition, including Canada and the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Australia, contain provisions automatically terminating such assignments 25 years after the author's death. Vesting in the Schuster estate, the co-author's undivided copyright interest in such countries, the suit said. The lawsuit continues. Schuster died in 1992 and Siegel in 1996. By operational law, Schuster's foreign copyrights automatically reverted to his estate in 2017 in most of these territories and in 2021 in Canada. Yet, defendants continue to exploit Superman across these jurisdictions without the Schuster estate's authorization, including in motion pictures, television series, and merchandise, in direct contravention, of these countries' copyright laws, which require the consent of all joint copyright owners to do so.
Yeah, I think that
Mm,
there was one not too long ago. When I say not too long ago, after '96,
yeah.
but they had something like that going on with Superman that Warner Brothers had to cave into.
Yeah, so if I'm understanding this correctly, because they're not abiding by copyright law and how it's written in other countries,
Hmm.
that they've stepped in deep doo doo.
Oh, I mean, now you can go for Smallville. You can go in for the Superman
The
and Lois.
yeah,
Of course, the various films that they have made. Uh,
hmm
yeah, I wonder what caused the straw that broke the back this time. I mean, really.
I don't know. That's one thing I would like to find out, and maybe we
Hmm.
will find out what was the straw that broke the camel's back, or
Hmm.
we may never find out.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. James Gunn will tell us about 5 different stories on the first day. He's
Yeah.
asked about it. Yeah.
And it's good to see Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. It's good to see everybody tonight.
You know what I think it is they saw the guy playing Superman. They said, "Oh no, 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 that's it." You know? Especially with those CGI freaky eyes. Banging
Yeah,
is
James Gunn continues to say, that wasn't CGI. You sure? You positive?
yeah.
Because I think it was. I think it was.
Oh, so you're gonna go with crappy filming? Okay, good to know.
I mean, yeah, I know. I've got a lazy eye. It's my left eye. But even then, I'm going, this doesn't look right.
Tell her to get to work. Come on, get off your butt, get to work. No, I mean, yeah, I mean that. You look at it, that's freaky. I mean, I don't think that's the reason why. I'm just kidding about it, but I don't know. I have no hope for this movie coming out,
I'm
and
not excited for it. I'm not.
I want to be. That's the thing. I want to be, but I can't. I mean, they even got him kind of wearing the proper Superman outfit in the sense he got the red shorts on. I never thought it looked right with him without him having that color contrast.
Hmm
But yeah, it's just I I wish and I mean it. I wish I was excited. I wish I was looking forward to it, but I'm not.
I haven't looked forward to anything that DC's offered. I mean, I saw Shazam. I thought it was okay. Black
Hmm.
Adam. Oh God, don't get me started on that.
You mean the Rock Eagle trip?
Yeah, the Rock just being the Rock. I mean, anyone who's a wrestling fan knows what I mean when I say the Rock just being the Rock.
Hmm. And again, it's going out there, changing characters, changing what they look like, all that across the board. So, you know, why should people be excited? You know, they're not recognizing what you're promising them. And this film is going to be the same way. And this
Mhm.
lawsuit's going to be interesting, especially if we hear more about it and stays in the limelight.
Yeah, yeah. I got a feeling it will.
I hope so. I hope so.
And if I'm wrong, well, I'll even say I'm wrong.
Oh, Lord knows we've done that enough times.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm s- I'm sorry. I'm so very very sorry. I got this down so good now that I can say I'm sorry.
Yeah, and Anna brings up another thing: expedited filmmaking. They want to just pump everything out without actually giving it time to simmer.
Hmm. There's an art to doing a pump out, right? You can't do it too soon, but yet you can't have huge gaps between your products. I mean, the Jar Jar Star Trek films. I mean, look how many years he had between them, and it's like, if you want a series, if you want a movie series, you got to do better than that. I mean, Star Trek classics, that was like every 2 years. You
Mm-hmm.
had, well, let's be technical. It was 79, December 7th, 79, that motion picture came out. But no, let's just say 80. And that's like, okay, then you had 2 years to Star Trek Wrath of Khan. Then you had 2 years to Star Trek 3. Then you had 2 years to Star Trek 4. And then you had uh, 3 years, actually, between that and Star Trek 5. And then
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek 5, I
Because
think
Star
that was
Trek 4
2 years.
came out in '86, Star Trek 5 came out in '89, and then of
Yeah.
course The Undiscovered Country came out in
Night.
'91.
Right. And there you had your 2 years back. But yeah, because Shatner was having issues with 5. There was issues going on that he had that
Oh yeah,
extra.
and Paramount was cutting his budget, and
Hmm.
Leonard Nimoy. I mean, we brought this up before, but I'll bring it up again.
Hmm.
But Leonard Nimoy was even trying to give advice to William Shatner, especially when it came to listening to Harv Bennett, and Shatner
Yeah.
didn't listen.
Yeah. Don't listen to Harv. and and that's the thing. I don't think Gunn has that knack to be able, because if he's wanting to do his universe right, uh, you're going to need to have a Superman film come out uh fast enough, but not too fast and not too long. Again, start Superman 2, about a year apart, but then again, they were technically filmed together
Hmm.
because it was one big film chopped into two. But you're going to have to look at, well, if you can do it in 1 year, but usually it's 2 years. Star Wars, look at that. That's 3 years until Disney did their fan films. Um, it's just enough that you have people wanting more, but that's getting harder and harder to do now with streaming. Honestly,
Yeah, because
people are so. Mhm.
you mentioned streaming. There's a new movie with Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon coming out. Instead of coming out to theaters, it's going to be on Amazon Prime.
Right, and a lot of films are doing that.
Yeah,
And but
and you have Apple releasing movies. They're out in the theaters maybe for a little bit of time before they're on Apple's own streaming service. Same with
yeah,
Netflix and.
right. And of course, the other thing with the streaming is we have our TikTok generation so used to binging instead of having to wait for a week for the next episode to come out.
Mhm.
And the
Or
instant
wait
gratification
for
of
an
that.
entire summer for the next season to come out.
Hmm.
Because in this generation where everything's available at an instant practically, you
Right.
don't have to wait long for the next season to come out. In
No,
some
but
cases. In
in
other
some cases,
cases, yes. Because of the coup and everything, that did put everything to a stop.
are are the we don't know what the f we're doing with Disney, where it's like, okay, how long until we get the next season of Mandalorian, and or this one? It's like, oh, that many years, but now the characters are going to look a lot. It's a prequel show, but they're going to look a lot older than they were in the original,
Hmm.
the original film or whatever. Like the Andor series. It's like,
It's like
why?
I was talking with my sister today,
Hmm.
and she wants to see the last Mission Impossible movie that comes out in May, but she
Right.
also wants to see the Karate Kid movie that comes out.
Hmm. See both.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and I that's what I said to her. I said, "Well, you want to go to see both? I'll go with you."
bring back to the old days of theater hopping. You go in, you get the ticket for the one, and you get the ticket for the other. Because I'm not saying you should go in there and not do that. And even though I was naughty at some time, where you watch a film, then you ran into another theater without paying for it. But no, um, I remember doing that with the former long suffering, even with the kids in the current long suffering. It's like, okay, we bought a ticket for this one, and then we're going to go back and we're going to watch the other one in this. So bring
You know,
stuff back. That's fun. That's what. Oh man.
I used to, pick a day on a day off, and this would be during the summer when our movie theater was open in the mornings, because prior to the summer, it's only open in the late afternoon, early evenings. So
Yeah.
during the summertime, they're open in the mornings, and
Mm-hmm.
if I saw that there are two movies I wanted to see, I'd make a day out of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's how that's how you did it back in the day. It's like, but the thing is, the prices have gone up so much. The films aren't that good, so you don't get excited about the movie going experience no more. It's because there's just so much out there. They need to fill so much time, and then you start getting not only the rush, but you get the people who don't have the talent making stuff and being called these great things that they're not, and destroying the industry.
Hmm. And I can see where Tommy's coming from with the new Karate Kid. Looking at that trailer, I could see where he's coming from.
Yeah,
But
but
he knows, and people who have been around for a while know that if I like something, I'll let you know. If I don't like something, I'll let you know.
and like I said, don't trust trailers.
No,
I mean,
no,
sometimes when the trailer looks
it's like
bad, it's going to be a good movie.
it's like the new Jurassic Park Rebirth trailer. I saw
Hmm.
that prior to
Hmm.
the stream. I actually saw it twice prior to us starting the stream, but I was also watching Vat Stevens stream,
Ah,
and both times it's like, yeah, retread, retread, retread. We've seen this in other Jurassic Park movies. Can't you come up with anything new? No, you can't.
well, what new things can you do with the dinosaurs right now? How many of those Jurassic movies have been out there? I think they hit it all, unless they actually have mad scientist reptilians that are
I
controlling dinosaurs. I mean, there
I
you go.
believe this is the seventh Jurassic Park movie.
Okay,
And I know it's under Jurassic World now, but I'm still
yeah,
calling it Jurassic Park.
yeah, call it what it's supposed to be. Yeah, but of course, Michael Crichton's dead, so he can't see
Yeah.
anything. Um, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like when you start doing it so much, you start running out of things sometimes. You're
And,
right. You're absolutely
and
right,
that's the
Tommy.
thing,
Like, but
Tommy. All three of us and everybody in the chat could probably think of one particular movie where the trailer sold them on it.
mhm. you know, I
E.T.
was, mhm, yeah. Some of the Star Trek movies, Star Trek
Mm-hmm.
2. But I'll sit
The
back and say
trailer for
this.
Star Trek 6.
Hmm. I will sit back and say this, and this will surprise you. Uh, for The Force Awakens, whoever JJ had that did the trailer knew what they were doing,
Yeah.
because you had a trailer where it made it look exciting, and you had no idea what was going to happen in that movie. It was so many red herrings in there. Like, is Finn actually a rebel that's dressed up as a stormtrooper is trying to escape? Are they on Tatooine? All this stuff. It was
Yeah.
all across the
Were
board. Of
they
course, you had
back
the
on Endor?
yeah,
Were they
uh,
back on Hoth?
yeah, and then you had, of course, at the very end you had the Han and Chewie, um, which was that reveal,
Yeah.
which everyone kind of knew was going to happen,
Chewie,
anyways.
we're home.
Yeah, whoever did those trailers was fantastic.
I mean,
That's how you do a trailer.
even seeing that scene where Chewie and Han get back aboard the Falcon, I
Hmm.
was excited for. It's the way they killed off Han.
Yeah.
I did it. I did it, Barrett. I wasn't the only one. I put my fist up and I flipped my finger. And I was not the only one who did it in the theater.
I'm proud of you. Started insurrection. Well, and that was the thing. Just like you said, when Han goes, Chewie, we're home. What the hell is that supposed to mean? It's the Falcon. Of course you're home. It led another level of what's going on, right? Unlike when Lucas did the Phantom Menace and they had the trailer for that one, that basically told you the entire fucking film in there. In fact, to the point that Weird Al Yankovic came out with his parody song before the movie was released, and he only had to change a couple of things in the song, and he already had it all figured out.
Yeah.
See, that's a bad trailer. If it's making you wonder what the hell is going on, and it's exciting and it draws you, that is a trailer. Again, despite, if there's one thing I have to sit back and say was good with the Jar Jar era there, that trailer was it.
And I've got a question specifically for Tommy.
Tommy!
You and I are big Transformers fans. And
Transformers?
Can you think back to when you were a kid and you saw the TV advertisements for Transformers the movie? I can remember what I was doing. I was in the living room watching TV. I see, the TV advertisement come up. The commercial for it come up. Transformers the movie, opening April 8th, this Friday. And I look at my parents. I said April, I meant August 8th. But I said to my parents, I want to go see the new Transformers movie. That was fine with them. They were already going to go see Top Gun.
Dun, 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 dun. And of course, then they had to console you.
Michael, what's wrong? Optimus Prime died. I mean, I've mentioned this before. I know I'm rehashing a story I've told many times on Pop Talk, but they're coming out. They're smiling. They're feeling good because Top Gun was good. The only scene my mom didn't like when Goose died. And if you didn't know that by now, well, the movie's almost 40 years old.
Yeah, and if you saw Maverick, you would have known.
Yeah. But they're all feeling good. They see me. I'm crying. I'm in tears. What's wrong? Optimus Prime died.
You would make that story even better if that set your mom off and she started crying, and Goose died too, and you're both there hugging each other in the lobby crying. That would have been epic.
No, but I can remember when they bought the VHS when it came out. First we rented it, but they bought the VHS. Every time we watched Top Gun, my mom's all skip this part.
Fast forward.
Yep.
Again, when it comes around to like a preview or a trailer or a tease, leading up to Next Generation, they did a fantastic job too. Because especially when you're getting to that last week, they had commercials for each day, and it was a countdown. And it really, they were, and as each one goes, they were showing a little bit more what was in the Next Generation, and not relying on like the stuff from the movies like they were before. The Reliant getting shot and stuff like that. And I tell you, that got you pumped up.
Yeah, it did.
I mean,
even
there wasn't even the narration.
The Journey's End trailer, as it was leading up to the last few episodes of Next Generation, when it was ending.
Yeah.
They would get you hyped up. They got you hyped up for Deep Space Nine before its premiere. They got you hyped up for Voyager. And they even got you hyped up for Enterprise.
It was, yeah, I mean, granted, about that time, people were starting to get worn out. But yeah, they got you hyped. If they didn't do that Zendi, that show would have gone a lot longer. But
yeah,
okay, back to you, Mike. That'll go into a nerd direction we don't necessarily want to go to.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, no, I mean, we got to go over to Rumble.
I know we got to go over to Rumble, but
and I just didn't want to get I'm trying to be good here.
well, we're having a good conversation.
I know. That's
And
what's
people know that we're having a good conversation. We're nerding out over things that a lot of us could relate to. A lot of us
yeah.
who are of a certain age can relate to because we grew up seeing it.
Kind of feeling like Joe Rogan here, having those conversations with people.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Because I've said it before. Pop Talk is about sitting back, relaxing, and not just enjoying the conversation, but joining the conversation.
I'm relaxed. I'm relaxed. More relaxed than you. But yeah, well, that's just it. I would love. I mean, if they're coming up with a new edition of D&D, it'd be nice that you had some excitement about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time I actually had excitement for an edition of D&D, that was third edition. I wasn't excited about the fourth. I got a couple of the fifth edition, but really wasn't excited about that either. I just, got some so I could at least travel along with the other gamers, have your player's handbook and such. No intent on buying this. I wasn't really enamored with second edition. But I tell you, every time you got one of the first edition, woo, yeah, that was exciting. I want those days again where you
Mm-hmm.
see that something's coming out, movie. Even if someone did a remake, because they used to do remakes, just not like they did now, and at least they tried to make an effort.
I mean, I want those days where they used to hype books. You would see a commercial for a book.
Oh, yeah, it was like a movie trailer,
Mm-hmm.
uh, commercial for a movie, but it was for a book. Oh, I love the ones with Pierce Anthony.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Pierce, and I have this. I mean, the guy is absolutely psycho. Uh, don't whenever he does like his afterwards or whatever in his books, he's just going after people that he feels slighted by. Uh, but I've never read one of his books, so. But when you've seen those commercials in the '80s, it was like, and then they go to him, "Hi, I'm Pierce," and it's like, boy, that's the most heterosexual I ever heard in my life. Oh my god, uh, because he's a heterosexual, but he sounded like he was right there in San Francisco. Um, Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Just saying. But yeah, I mean, and they did that primarily for women's books, the romance ones. But I
Yeah.
mean, who of us back in the day still remember the Dianetics commercials with the volcano going off?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very impactful commercial, which it was supposed to be. It was supposed to suck you into Scientology. Uh, but yeah, it's like, and then you see that the volcanoes going exploding like they had on the cover of Dianetics, and they're saying back how many millions have been sold. I got a couple
I mean,
copies of those
I
somewhere.
mean,
Never bought it.
gosh, Uh, remember the compilation CDs that would have different songs from different groups on them, and how they
Yeah.
would hype it up on the TV commercials?
KTEL Records presents Beach Party Blanket Bingo. That's right, all your beach party songs that you love from the Beach Boys. Yeah, exactly. And it was KTEL Records that pretty much was the ones that
Yeah,
did a lot of that. Minnesota was a Minnesota company. In fact, I wonder if KTEL Avenue or Boulevard still is there. It's
I
over
don't
by the
know.
General Mills, over by where General Mills is in Minneapolis, or on the outskirts, I should say, of Minneapolis. But yeah, KTEL Records. But there were others that did it, but KTEL was the king, baby. Hail to the king.
I mean, heck, even radio advertisements. Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, Sunday. The big monster truck race at the stadium.
Yeah. Or you had Zamfir in his panpipes or whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, uh, was Hobo. No, I'm trying to remember the one that did all those Hobo songs, but I got a mailbox his name, but the Boxcar Willie. In his albums are, Grigor in his anal pipe, playing the songs of Russia and Ukraine and other Soviet nations, because back then that's what you had. Um,
Yes, the
I'm joking about
Columbia House.
Columbia. Well, Columbia House was just the here's your dime bag for a cent. Now we got ya. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
the magazines, even books, sometimes you open up paperbacks and there it is, right in their Columbia House, or sometimes a science fiction book club too. Oh yeah, I mean magazines and all that. You can pick 10 albums, 10 cassettes, 10 albums for this much, and and then of course then you had to buy so many at their inflated prices. And let's not forget shipping and handling.
Yeah.
No
Wasn't cheap
CODs.
back then.
No,
Yep.
no CODs.
How many times did you hear that in the commercial? No CODs, no cash on demand.
Yeah. No 8-tracks.
Or delivery.
Yeah, and then they have the little image of the Visa and MasterCard underneath with the phone number. Yep.
Sometimes you'd see an American Express, sometimes you wouldn't.
Oh yeah, sometimes you would. Yeah, a lot of people didn't go that way because it cost them too much to process the American Express. If they had the American Express, it's like, ooh, they're hoity-toity. They must be reputable. Yeah.
Oh, they must be rich.
Things weren't like they are today, folks. But I miss a lot of those commercials, and a lot of them were done late night. Annie Murray's greatest hits album from KTEL Records. It's like,
or sweating to the oldies.
oh yeah, Sha Na Na. You get the Sha Na Na album. Oh yeah, yes, folks. This is for real. We're not making up any of this shit.
No, you can probably find a lot of these advertisements on YouTube.
Yeah, they're there. Yeah, I always loved the Boxcar Willie ones, and what was it? I think they did one for C.W. McCall and his trucker hits, and don't get ripped off without it. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Because anytime I've been offered, a chance to apply for an American Express, it's like, no,
no,
not
in a heartbeat. No, because whatever you spend, you got to pay right away that same month. No installments, man.
Yep. It's not like your bank where your bank will say, say you spend a certain amount over $25. Well, as long as you pay the minimum payment of $25, you'll be fine.
Right. Yeah. The Visa Master worked with that one, and of course it was just at that level that they can keep. Yeah, it still is. Oh, but yeah, you know what? Yeah, people out there in the chat and all that. Yeah, definitely start looking up, because there's sites out there that show the commercials from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and especially if we can find the ones that they had on late night, because a lot of these were like late night ones.
Oh yeah.
That we talked about. Some made it to early. Sometimes you got it during like the soap.
Sometimes if you got up early enough in the morning, and the infomercials were there, or just even a regular commercial was there where they were advertising, Columbia House or any of the records that they were trying to push on people. You would see it, but yes, I can admit it. I miss growing up in the 80s and 90s. I do.
As much as I hated them, I miss those old 1-900 numbers. The one, it's like so much in the first minute, and then every other minute it's this. Yeah.
If you want to find out which WWF superstar is going to show up at WrestleMania, call 1-900. I'm not going to get the whole number because it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. Well, 1-900, we got you. Well, yeah, or even the funniest ones I always thought were the ones with the phone sex. And it's like they're putting, these hot, sexy women.
Oh, what about Miss Cleo? What about Miss Cleo? I can tell you about your future.
She was next on my list. You beat me to it. See, I beat you to something earlier. Now you got your revenge. I was going to say Miss Cleo too. And I actually got mad about this when I was doing the Star Trek Club. Because when Star Trek 5 came out, they had a 1-900 number to call for whatever it was with Star Trek. And the one person that was doing the newsletter in the group, because I was the lead, the head, he put an ad for that in there, and I said, "Don't put shit like that in there. Why are we putting an ad in there for these 1-900 numbers?" I mean, we're not seeing a cent off of it, and money's going that way. And besides, these are a ripoff. I mean, we knew it was ripoff. All of us knew, but we had a laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, call Nintendo Power. That's right. Nintendo had one.
Nintendo's hotline for tips, and
Mhm.
I did that one time.
Yeah, how hard were you
And I
paddle?
do mean one time.
Yeah, you didn't sit down for a week, did you? But yeah, I mean, yeah, you look back at that and it's like, geez, things that might have irritated you. Now you're kind of going, boy, I wish we had those back. And even then, like I said, some of those 900 ones were a blast to laugh at. Like you said, the Cleos or the adult talk lines or whatever, because they're just, the commercials were just so ridiculous. And it's like you're trying to get me to, well, yeah, you're going to get some insults and stuff like that. Losers I'll call in. They just got done at the bar and staggered home, and they got more on their credit card than common sense. And
yeah, I mean, Baron, right now, instead of being two old men sitting in their rocking chairs reminiscing about the past, we're sitting in our chairs, not rocking chairs, but we're sitting in our chairs behind our microphones going, I remember
back in our day. Yeah, remember when they invented that?
Yeah, I mean, remember when you saw a cell phone for the first time? It's like, you mean you can make a call on that?
Mhm.
What to Mars?
Oh, we were so cruel to that one guy. It was like late 80s, Dewey the Dick, as we called him. But he was one of the first ones that were part of that cell of people. Where we knew some of each other, but some of them we didn't know it. We just had somebody was common in there, and we just all came in. But everybody knew Dewey, and he came in. He was the first one to have a cell phone. And again, this is late 80s, and he was given, I can't remember how many free minutes to start off with, right? So he had these minutes he could, but he was going around cruising in his convertible Mustang, and he's showing off the phone, and we're going, ooh, ah. Not only was the first time I fully experienced a cell phone, it was the first time we had a butt dial with said same phone. So Dewey was there wowing all of us because again, this is the time of George Michaels and stuff like that, and and then he goes and takes off, and we're sitting around there doing our thing, just being obnoxious jackasses, and it was men and women there. So we're just being jackasses, and all of a sudden the phone rings, and the one guy goes over and, hello, what, huh, what, guys, come here, listen to this. And Dewey butt dialed, and we were listening to him trying to hustle a young lady. On there, and we're yelling in the phone, hey, your phone's off the hook, or whatever it was. We're hauling through there, and of course, as we're doing this, all his free minutes are ticking off until one of us in the group, and it wasn't me, actually had a moment of, shall we say, empathy, sympathy, whatever. For some reason, the angel kind of was sobered up enough to say a few words before passing out again, saying, "Yeah, you shouldn't be doing this because he's this isn't good." And of course, okay, whatever. Paul Sport, you son of a bitch. And then we hung up the phone. But I guess he did find out about it. He got pissed off, especially when all his minutes were gone.
Well, let me ask you one quick question before we go to Rumble.
Yeah.
How many phones did you grow up with in your house? Did you have just one in the kitchen, or did you have one in the kitchen and one in the bedroom somewhere?
Okay. Starting off with, if I when we first moved in and such, we had one in the kitchen, which was on the wall, and there was one downstairs because our basement was done up down there. You could live down there, and
Yeah.
I was your typical basement dweller, and we had a red phone down there. and it was the one where you pick up and you dialed. That was
Mhm.
sitting on whatever. So we had those, but as years went along, and I got the full upstairs because it was all open space. They wired in a phone line up there so I could have one up there, so I didn't have to kill myself running down the steps and getting to the phone to answer when there was nobody there, or my dad's going, "Hey, go get that phone," because he didn't want to talk to anybody. He was afraid someone might be calling he didn't want to talk to. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you son of a. So
Yeah,
yeah, so
yeah, yeah. Because that's what happens sometimes with my parents. If it's so and so, tell them I'm not here. But you are here. Tell them I'm not here.
yeah. I think that helped my phone anxiety because I hated doing that. It's like,
Yeah.
son of a bitch, and so
But
when you have someone wasn't thrilled, but yeah, we had started with 2, ended with 3.
how many times would the phone ring? Someone would pick it up at your house, but you'd still go to the other phone so you can listen in to find out who it was on the phone, so you didn't have to ask.
Actually, be honest, I never did that. But you did have the situation where you kind of both picked up at the same time. You might have delayed hanging up after that.
Yeah.
We had that situation, but really honestly, didn't really do that
I
because you
mean,
always have that click, and they hear the click, and they know.
yeah, yeah, yep. I
So
mean,
that
there
yeah.
were a few times where I would pick up the phone at the same time as my dad, because my dad decided, since he was out in the garage a lot of times working on stuff, that one year he installed a phone out in the garage.
Yeah.
So we had a phone in the garage, we had a phone in my mom and dad's bedroom, and then we had the phone in the kitchen.
Hmm.
Well, there are several times where I would pick up the phone and one of my dad's buddies thought it was me,
Hmm.
you know, pranking him when I would pick up the phone and my dad would say hello, and my dad would go, "No, we just picked up at the same time."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that happened a lot sometimes, especially when you're on different levels.
Yeah.
One downstairs, one upstairs. So it's like or one in the basement, and one on the top. So yeah, and of course, like I said, I didn't necessarily do that for any altruistic reasons or be a nice guy. I just didn't want my ass beaten because you could hear that click.
Yeah.
But
No,
you
trust me, I still remember the click.
yep. Well, what about this annoying click? Call waiting. You'll be sitting on
Oh,
the phone, and all
or
of a sudden there will be that beep.
yeah, you're talking on the phone, beep, beep.
Yeah.
It's like, all
Like
right, I'm sorry, I gotta get this call. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Can you please hold?
Yeah, you try to do the thing just right so you don't actually hang them up. Because if you
How
got
many
your
times
timing
did I
off,
accidentally hang up
mhm,
on somebody?
if that timing was off, you knocked them off. But what was good though about that for us geekies out there, and I know I said this before, but I'll say it again. Uh, when we were doing the BBS systems, which was kind of how we did our uh, internet in the day, BBS standing for bulletin board system. You call somebody's computer somewhere's usually in town because you didn't want to incur long distance fees.
No.
And the free computer papers would have a list of all the BBSs you could. And and for a while there, mine was on there. So I was a sysop over my own for a while, because it was just fun.
Mhm.
And that's where we got a second line for a while, was for that. But when you were trying to get a hold of on one of those, and somebody else is on there, because generally it was one line in. So if you tried calling in while someone's there, you got the beep. Remember the busy signal? Yeah,
Uh
we
huh.
don't have that much anymore, but you get that busy signal. So if we kind of knew who it was that was on there, and we knew they had caller ID, we'd call them, because that caller ID, when it makes that sound, would knock a person off the BBS,
Yep.
and you could get boom right on in. And I think, when you had dial up still, even when you did the internet, I think that would do the same thing too with dial up internet.
Or how you would dial a number and then you get the alert saying, "We're sorry, the number you have dialed can not be completed as dialed."
Yeah. The number you're trying to dial is no longer in service. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah. Oh, and
I mean,
dialing
I
actually
had that
dialing.
happen, and I didn't even realize that my friend's phone number had changed. I went to call him one day, and I got that
Mm-hmm.
message. It's like, I tried to call you yesterday. Oh,
Oh
you
yeah, we
did?
moved.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. I changed my number. Well, my parents did, but
Yeah. Oh. I'll let you do the
I see
honors.
that. I see that. I see that. I see that.
I see that.
Give me 1 second. Give me one
Well,
second.
let's see if we got the other thing too that should be played for this. Let me take a look here. Is it on here? You do yours, I do mine. How's that sound?
All right, I just gotta get the right one. I don't want to
Oh, I
play
found it. Okay,
the
I
wrong
found
one.
mine.
That's
I'm
all.
gonna play.
And with the way EVMux is, it never puts it into the order that I designate. So
Yeah, that's why I try to.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Anna's Gameland has just become a member of Pacific414. And give me a second because Stream Elements isn't telling me which level she signed up for, so I will find that out.
He'll find out. Of course, being that she's good friends with Jace, we have to follow up with this.
Simping is such a major turnoff to women.
Yeah. So remember, tell him that as often as possible, Anna. Tell Jace that as often as possible, especially after the way his future wife was acting on the interwebs. But welcome, Anna. She's a good friend of the channel.
She is.
Yeah, streamed with her plenty of times. Good friend of 540 Studio and Jace Fox over there. So yeah, she's an absolute sweetheart. An absolute sweetheart too. Even she picks on me about Superman.
Anna has joined the Pack of 414 level of membership. And with that, Anna, anytime I upload a video, you and other members get to see that video 7 days before anyone else does. And you are also welcome to any member streams once a month, and they usually occur in the middle of the month. So with those member streams, there's no set topic. We talk about anything that's on your mind,
Kind of like we're doing
including
now.
politics. Yeah, right now.
Welcome, Anna! Look at that. The crowd goes wild. They love it. They love it.
I greatly appreciate this, Anna, and you've become a good friend, not just of Cash's, Baron's, and myself, but you've become a good friend to everybody who you associate with. And I can't do this without you guys. I can't. We can't do this show without you guys.
And you would get to see Cash complain if he showed up. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so very, very sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes. And you know what I do with these memberships? I put it back into the channel. When I received my last payment from YouTube, got myself a new chair. So now I'm not cranky when I'm making thumbnails or doing Pop Talk or a game stream.
You're good when you're cranky.
Not according to some people. Mike, a little less cranky.
See, you give him money, he gets something for his butt. Okay, back to you, Mike.
But no, I've made a promise when I got monetized on the channel that anything I earned, I would put back into the channel. So part of putting it back into the channel is also putting that money toward paying for EVMux.
So, and also, being that you're members, come on, make your voices heard. Say it loud and say it loudly. Do you want Mike to play Streamer Life 2 Simulator for his gaming? Come on, do it,
No,
folks. Come on. In the
no,
chat right now.
no, no. I've already said I am not doing that. I am not playing that game. I saw a stream of that game. I am not doing that.
Long Suffering and I were watching that, and the Long Suffering turns to me and goes, "So you're gonna suggest that to Mike?" I said, "You know I am."
Well, if the long suffering is listening, if anyone else is listening who has the bright idea of getting me to play that game, no, absolutely not.
Come on, people in the chat.
And,
You can do it.
it's not just no,
Pressure.
absolutely not. It's a hell no.
Put the pressure on. Put the pressure on.
I am putting my foot down, Mr. Tagge.
I just find it silly that they have one. More importantly, there was a Stream Life Simulator 1. It's like, now you got a 2? Okay.
Well, I guess it did well enough to warrant a 2.
Yeah, but we never heard it. No. But, Polish Life Simulator, you should probably get that one. That looks like a hoot. You get to live life as a Polak.
I don't know. Cash wants me to play Bloodborne.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth it?
I don't know. I do want to play Black Myth Wukong. I do want to play
I know that.
I'm just waiting for that game to go on sale.
Oh,
I know. Go ahead. Say I'm cheap. No, if I'm going to buy a game, I want to buy it on sale, so maybe I can buy 2 games that are on sale.
So when you're donating all this to Mike, just know that he's looking for a deal and not just wasting the money. See?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you can tell you have a person has integrity.
Just like with the chair. I saw what it was originally for, and then I saw that it was on sale. It's like, all right.
That was Bloodborne?
Yeah, Bloodborne is the game that Cash wants me to play.
Okay, I'm curious now. I say, how about Blood Bowl?
No.
Well, a little. What's wrong with the little Warhammer action there?
Well, I mean,
What's to explode?
I've had some people suggest Bolt Gun. I mean, we watched Cash play it.
Yeah, and they're going to be doing something something to keep it going. There's going to be some updates to that, I hear. So, yeah. I mean, at least there's some areas in Games Workshop that they're doing right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes they frill up, but Space Marine 2, Dark Tide, even though they had rocky starts, the Dark Tide did, but Vermintide 2, Rogue Trader, Inquisitor. I mean, a lot of these games out there that you play on the video. It's like, wow, awesome. I mean, Space Marine 1, then it's like, how can they make better than that? And then they come out with Space Marine 2. It's like, well, I guess they did. Of course, Phil likes his Total War, Warhammer Total War.
Mm-hmm.
You have Dawn of War with a 40K. So, just never play the tile because, you'll...
Yeah, for some reason it's not coming up on my Steam. I'll have to fool around with that later.
Yeah, I was looking too, and I didn't see it on there. Maybe some secret thing he's got.
Maybe.
Gosh, he's mysterious. Insanely mysterious.
But yeah, there are some games I want to play, but again, I'm not going to pay full price. I'm waiting for them to go on sale. I mean, the other night, Lady Miss was kind enough to send a super chat, and we're going to be watching The Haunting from 1963.
Yes. If we don't, she's going to put Cash in concrete galoshes and have him go swimming.
And it says, I'm currently immersed in Kingdom Come 2. It's good. I'll have to check that out.
Well,
Well.
Look who's here.
Look
Simping
who
is
came
such
out
a
of the
major
ice
turnoff
of
to women.
Norway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is he? I think he was recovering from watching Jenna Ortega be a complete dimwit out there.
Wait, was it Jenna Ortega or was it Selena Gomez who was?
Oh, it's Gomez. Never mind. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, Selena Gomez. Sorry, my fault. I was hoping it was the other. That way I could really rip on Jace, but oh well, Jace gets to keep his. Jace can keep on doing this.
Simping is such a major turnoff to women.
That's right. I said, I ain't giving you no $350, you goddamn Loch Ness monster. Get your own goddamn money. I gave him a...
He's not a simp. Yeah, we've heard that before, Jace.
Yeah.
But folks, we're not done yet. We are going to Rumble for. We're going to
10
Rumble.
minutes.
We're going to Rumble.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we only do an hour there, but it'll be only 10 minutes now because we spent so much time here.
We've had a lot of fun, but we invite you to join us over on the Rumble side if you'd like.
Please come on over. The water's fine. Don't even have to worry about corn cash over there. Cash pop.
And who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll do something. Maybe we can make it a party over on the Rumble side.
No cash, big party. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
He's a party pooper. He's always a party pooper.
But
he's probably in Fulton, California. Got arrested.
No. He's got to shop for the good kill. He's got to shop for the good kill.
Well, yeah, that's probably what happened. He went down there, had a hissy fit because the kill wasn't good. Then he saw the price of avocados, and he really went ape. And yeah, and the sad thing is that On Patrol Live doesn't go to Fulton no more, so I can't watch it. I miss watching Cash on TV.
But before we head over to the Rumble side exclusively, I do want to thank Anna's Gameland. I want to thank Jason Fox of 540 Studio, Tommy the Guinea Pig Collective, DJ Ronnie G, Jet Sparks, also Phil McCracken. Yeah. You're wrong. Gosh, how many times do I got to tell that guy? I'm right.
You're wrong and I'm right.
Alex Moore, Kitty Bear, the Padawan Wannabe. We also had Tim, also known as FKHC 2005. Cass was here as well. And Pop Culture Mechanic was here as well. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anybody. I believe I got everybody who popped in over on the YouTube side, at least as far as the chat is concerned. So, everybody, if you haven't done so already, please, we invite you to join us over on the Rumble side right about now.
Yeah.
Take care, X. Take care, YouTube. And I will see you tomorrow.
And have a blessed tomorrow. Goodbye. Good night. That's what we got to say because goodbye. Good night. But you on Rumble, well, you're stuck with us, you poor bastard.